Yippee! We are live. We made it. We made it. We're doing a watch party. Oh, wait. I did check. Okay, desktop audio is working. For a second there, I was worried. Alrighty. Let's get the chats out. So today is Mystery Monday, meaning I will do, it's roulette. You never know what you're going to get on Mondays. On Mondays, maybe we are doing a watch party, or we're gaming, or we're just taking a nap. You just never know. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. That's us on Mondays. So today, that's the plan. We're going to do a watch party. I saw some videos that I really wanted to watch, and then I was like, you know what? Why don't we just all watch it together? We're going to learn a thing or two. Probably. I'm doing the meta from like 2024 or something. So here is the plan for today. Okay, you guys, I think I got an eyelash in my eye, for the record. All right, so here's the plan today is we have Modern Software Engineering, which is an awesome YouTube channel. Really, really sick videos, like really technical. I really want to watch their episode with Martin Fowler. I think Martin Fowler is just such an icon in the industry, and I've learned so much from his books. So yeah, they have an episode with Martin Fowler, but like generally I feel like you've seen their face before. Yeah, this is a really cool channel if you're looking for technical content. So we're going to take a look at their take on why AI won't replace software engineering, because we are a positive community that loves software engineers. All right. So we have that. We have Beyond Coding, which is a podcast that I got introduced to more recently that I also really liked. They had an open source maintainer on there, and I think I shared it on like Twitter and then in the Discord and stuff like that, and I found it really inspiring. So I've already mentioned before how systems design is something that I want to improve my system design skills. I feel like I haven't experienced enough foot guns with larger systems I've experienced some, okay? I've experienced some foot guns, but I feel like not enough to really identify like key patterns with it. So we are going to acquire some wisdom today from our elders. So we are getting this one that is software architect. This is how you design systems that survive. And then we're also going to get another one on how to become a top tier software architect. So if you're looking to also level up your software architecture stuff, now's the time. All right, I got you. So yeah, we're just gonna sit and chill. We got a few hours worth of content today, but we're gonna hang out. We got a good old hangout sesh. I might tilt the camera a touch because I realized I think I put it. Did I put it? I'm centered. Yeah, whatever. All right. Before we watch this, I think I need to go see if I have an eyelash in my eye. All right, give me 1 sec. All right. Okay. That's it. Yippee. Okay. Let's go. Let's watch why AI won't replace software engineering. Also, guys, let me know if the audio is too loud or good or whatever. Okay. Actually, I should be able to. Okay, hold on. I'm risking it all. All right, let me try this.
Everyone's talking about how AI is replacing software engineers. There's an article doing the rounds right now that makes some really good points about how the real engineering skills remain deeply human. But I think that even this article misses something more fundamental. Most of the conversation about AI and software engineering skips over one thing that determines whether AI-generated code helps you or destroys you. That thing is continuous delivery. And without it, AI-assisted development isn't just risky, it's more like a trap.
It's a trap! Shit.
Hi, and welcome to the Modern Software Engineering channel. I'm Dave Farley. If you haven't been here before, please do hit subscribe. And if you enjoy the content today, hit like as well. AI makes code generation cheap. But the problem with that is that it was never the code generation part that was expensive. The bottleneck in software was never the typing.
It's so
true. It was the understanding, designing, testing, integrating and deploying solutions to real problems, and doing so in sufficient detail for our solutions to be good solutions. AI accelerates the part of software development that wasn't really the problem. This is, and has been for a very long time, a complete misread of why software is difficult to create. Sure, the technicalities of writing code have their complexities, but the real problem is the enormous surface area of the problems that we want to solve with computers. And that doesn't go away or even change when using AI. There's something called Jevons paradox, and AI applies this paradox to code. Jevons paradox says that when something becomes cheaper to produce, we produce more of it, and so the amount that we spend on that thing goes up. AI has lowered the bar on creating code, and these days, however fast you type as a human, an AI will generate code faster than you. So we're generating more code. But more AI generated code means more complexity, more integration points, more maintenance burden, and more behaviors to evaluate. And if we're not very careful, even less time to understand the problem. This is a theory of...
I'm gonna be so for real. Like, how many of these AI tech bros do you think are like, you know what? Yeah, I'm dedicated to the lifespan of this project, and I'm gonna maintain it after I ship. I feel like I am not anticipating anyone who is delegating most of the work to want to maintain, because I'm like, the greenfield coding is like the most. I feel like the biggest like dopamine feedback cycle is in like the greenfield part of a new project, you know, like building something from scratch. And it's like the maintenance is like the unsexy part, you know. It's like very much, it's like you have to do this and you're gonna fight tooth and nail to not have to do that. It's just like there's
constraints problem writ large, and all of that without saying anything about the quality of the code that's been produced. This is not a productivity gain, it's a complexity bomb with a delayed fuse. Unless we control it to prevent it, AI tends to make big leaps rather than the easier to control small steps, and that's very dangerous. This is the opposite of what good engineering in general looks like, but certainly good engineering in software. Good engineering is about small, reversible steps. With fast feedback, we make incremental, verifiable, safe progress.
This is, okay, I think this has been one of the best things that the Code Crafters has helped with, is just like giving you such a good example for like breaking things down into the smallest possible problem and just working on that, you know, like, because I feel like sometimes it's, I don't know, it's easy for things to kind of spill over, or you to like not do the estimates really well. So it's nice to have an example of that like done well. Yeah, but this is, I feel like this is a skill in and of itself. And yeah, if we're delegating all of it, RIP.
Towards our goal. AI tempts us to skip that discipline and instead makes giant leaps, too often in the wrong direction. Bob Martin said, the only way to go fast is to go well. This means that speed without discipline, and even worse, without direction, is an illusion. I once worked on a very complicated large-scale integration project.
Wait, that's such a good, I feel like that's such a good line of like speed without direction is pretty much a waste of time, pointless, whatever. because there's so many cases that I've seen with different businesses that I've like spoken to, looked at, whatever, where they don't ever take the time to like pause, reflect, and have like a good, actually productive retrospective on things, and just say like, hey, I know we've sunk a bunch of money into this thing. Is it still the best way forward? Do we need to readjust? You know, a lot of companies don't really pause and think about like, what is the most optimal strategy to move forward? They just kind of are like, oh, they do the spray and pray technique of just like, we're going to just try and do everything all the time, and then we should get a result. It's like I don't know. It's like throwing noodles at the wall, seeing if it sticks. Okay. I don't know if that's an expression, but now it is. But a lot of companies, they are happy to kind of just operate without direction, or just sometimes you do need a little bit of time, a little bit of space to make good decisions. And I think if things feel too rushed in any kind of environment, you end up with like really poor decision making. Okay, good. Throwing noodles at the wall is in fact an expression. Okay, sick. I was like, I'm going to guess that it's noodles, because I know some people do that to check if their spaghetti is done. Anyway.
We were making progress, evaluating and arguing technologies, and starting to build and establish an effective development culture in this organisation. These teams, though, weren't used to working at this kind of scale. One Friday, my boss and I, who were leading this project, came into work to be told, progress is too slow, so we've done a deal with one of the big software consultancies. You'll be getting 200 consultants on Monday. This killed our project and the albeit slow progress that we had been making. 18 months later, after working 60 to 80-hour weeks for many of those months, we had a lot of burnt out people, but no code that even compiled together, let alone worked together. We'd all been extremely busy, but had made no recognisable progress in any meaningful way. This was one of many lessons that taught me that working so that your system always works, as we do in continuous delivery, really matters. It is central to success. But to achieve this, we have to learn about the problem that we're solving, as well as learning about our solution. AI can't judge whether it's doing the right thing on its own. It can't tell if it got to the right answer unless we also give it the context that we can think of, and probably quite a lot of context that we haven't yet thought of. It's exactly this process of discovery, learning enough about the problem that we were trying to solve and what that means in the broad context of the system that we're trying to build, that is at the heart of effective software development. Whether the coding is done by AI or by people. We need to understand things like how many people will use it, what are the security risks, and so on. But also, what does it really mean when somebody says, place an order or register a user? AI can assert that code does what the code does, but unless it understands the detail of the problem we're trying to solve, the detail of how it will be used, and the detail of what the risks associated with all of those things are, it has no means of telling whether the code solves the actual problem or not. Without a way to validate all of those things continuously, we're flying blind and at higher speed, and so when the crash happens, it's going to be a bigger one. I'd like to pause there and say thank you to our sponsors. We're extremely fortunate to be sponsored by Equal Experts, Transfig, and Octopus Deploy. So why is continuous delivery important, and how does it help in an AI world? My favourite definition for continuous delivery is working so that our software is always in a releasable state. That simple sounding sentence, though, carries a lot of weight.
Can I say though, because like sometimes you'll build something. I guess this is where like major versioning comes into play. Because I was gonna say sometimes you build something and you realize that the design that you used was completely unsustainable, doesn't account for certain edge cases that you didn't encounter until like you're deep enough into the project that, you know, you already have users, you already have like a certain foundation that you need to maintain. So I guess this is where like major releases would come into play. Major version is for when you admit that you broke the API. Yeah. I guess developing libraries versus also developing applications is a little different. Like you can have an application that is like mid refactor for, how the design of the actual thing, that is still in like a working state throughout the refactor. Interesting. Okay.
To achieve this, we need to work in small steps. And after each small step that we take, we need to evaluate that our software remains releasable. So we need a definition of what releasable means. At its most effective, this takes the form of automated tests. And we need those tests to give us fast, clear feedback on the releasability of our system, fast enough so that we can run them after every change many times per.
How do you guys define releasable code? I feel like it's, having unit tests that cover the core features of what your program is supposed to do. I guess just a good test suite. And like, even I guess having probably, if there's certain, what's it called? Why am I forgetting the name? Like the coding practices or like code style that you need to have for some orgs and stuff. Probably having that automated where it'll like flag it with basically some kind of like custom linter or something like that. Unit test, QA automation suite. Yeah, stuff like that, I think. Okay, and then Oetzi says releasable if the mental context of the project is maintainable because tests are just statistics but not logic. Yeah. Okay, Puerco says that it builds, it improves the code base, and that I can't make the change any shorter. That's a really good point. Yeah. Leland says property-based testing and deep spec style of thought is nice. Icarus says none of that matters. Releases what turns features into bugs. What does that even mean? Releasable just means that you feel ready for it to be deployed. Yeah, but I feel like a lot of people have, like, to have that as a standard, as a consistent, like, standard that you hold your releases to. I feel like most people have some kind of, like, checklist or automated, checks that they're doing before each release. Okay, Judy says having a defined scope of what to release, code and unit tests for this scope are complete. Integration testing done, any required documentation prepared, the list goes on. Yeah, true. I think that's a really good answer. Hi.
Per day. We assemble these tests into a deployment pipeline that provides the definitive statement on releasability. If the pipeline passes the change, it's releasable. If any test in the pipeline fails, it's not. So let's look at each of these things in turn in the context of AI.
We love pipelines.
We can't delegate the determination of releasability to an AI, although it can certainly help, but at its core, the AI can't understand the full context of our system. It can't know what we care about that makes our software releasable unless we tell it. Automated testing does double duty here. It forces us to be precise in specifying what it is that we want, and then, because our specification is in the form of a test, it allows us to verify that we got what we wanted. For this, AI code needs to pass the same bar as human code. Your test suite is the arbiter of quality, regardless of who or what wrote the code. Small incremental changes are important to counter AI's tendency towards big leaps, even if AI generates a large.
It is crazy to me how sometimes you'll ask, like, for what it's worth, I haven't gotten AI to like write any code for me in a very long time. But when I would ask it to make, I'd ask it about like one specific little thing, and then it like changes like 5 files. And I'm like, brother, those files are unrelated to the change. Like, do not. Absolutely not.
Large block, your discipline should be to integrate it in small verifiable pieces. This is true for a variety of reasons. Right now, managing the context window in your AI assistant is an important part of being successful with AI programming, because as that context window fills up, the AI will forget things and start to underperform. Working in small verifiable steps places a natural limit on the size of each change, and so naturally manages the use of the context window better. To be honest though, this is probably an artifact of where we are in the growth curve of AI capability, and I imagine that context windows won't be such a big problem fairly soon. However, this doesn't mean that working in small steps becomes less important. If you have a perfectly formed picture of what you want to achieve with a piece of software before you begin, you're either thinking of something trivially simple or haven't yet thought about it in enough detail to unearth all the complexity yet. We don't know what our users need. We don't know that our ideas will work. We don't know how the world in which our software exists will change. Working to specify with a test what we want, feature by feature, gives us a practical, useful, intellectual tool that forces us to explore all of these problems in more detail. This small discipline automatically gives us more control, so that the AI is less likely to run away from us, doing things that we don't want or don't need. My current approach is to teach my AI assistant how acceptance testing works and then specify most things at that level as my preferred style of executable specification. I find that development when working this way is significantly faster, making progress in hours that would in the past have taken me days or weeks, but still giving me confidence that my progress is heading in the direction that I want it to. It is this constant, regular sampling of the correctness of our choices and that constant sense of direction that is at the very heart of continuous delivery, and so important in keeping our AI assistants aligned with our own goals for whatever it is that we are building. As I proceed, I think of new things and learn new things about the problem that I'm working on and about the solution that I'm creating alongside my AI assistant. Fast feedback loops are vital to allow me to spot these new learnings and course correct if we're heading off in the wrong direction. We need to know within minutes, not days, if AI generated code broke something. A continuous delivery pipeline gives exactly that feedback. Working this way makes it easier for the AI to see its own mistakes, as long as we are being clear about the criteria that it can use to judge those things. I've had my own AI assistant remark with seeming surprise that the acceptance test that I defined highlighted a mistake that it had made. Leaving an AI to make all of those decisions for itself is a recipe for disaster, for all but the simplest of tasks. Deployment pipelines work as quality gates. The pipeline doesn't care if a human or an AI wrote the code. Either way, it enforces the same standards. This is enormously powerful. AI assistance without continuous delivery is alluring, but it's a big mistake, even for small projects. My own experience of this has been that if I work without continuous delivery, then I'll tend to specify in broad terms what I want, vibe coding style, and my AI assistant at some point will say, yeah, I've got it. Sometimes even before I've finished explaining. It then rushes ahead and codes and confidently tells me that it generated a bunch of tests and that they're all now passing. Sometimes, probably often, I can run the system at this point and it looks plausible. It's often close to what I asked for these days. But it's also nearly always a fairly naive implementation. Enough to prototype the idea, but not even close to being production ready, unless production means I'm going to use it on my own on my computer. I don't know about you, but mostly that's not the kind of software that I've been writing for the last few decades. This is an old story, the classic problem of prototypes. You write some sketchy outline to demonstrate an idea, and as soon as somebody sees it, they say, ship it. So this is barely even a starting point. Worse than that, though, is usually the next step. I ask for some additional new feature, and the AI implements it and tells me that 20 tests are now passing. That's weird, I think. It was passing 24 tests before the change. So I start digging in, and it's removed or broken several tests. Tests it wrote itself, but that were there too tightly coupled to the previous solution for it to keep. So they're now too hard to keep working, and it gave up and deleted them instead. This is a common unit test after the code failure mode, human or AI. So we need to teach it TDD. But we also need to teach it to never delete a test without asking me first. Fine if you know
The
what
audacity,
that's the
am I
fix.
right?
A bit of a problem if you assume that vibe coding alone is enough. The other common failure I've seen is that when we find a bug, the AI struggles to diagnose the solution. Coding assistants are getting better at debugging, but I still see this if I don't keep things under control with small steps, making my design modular and my concerns separated. All the tests pass, but I spot a failure. It doesn't communicate with the server in production. or similar. How can that be if all the tests passed? Well, the tests were naive and simplistic. In one case, I had specified some tests that needed some data that was stored in a database. My AI assistant confidently implemented the test, including populating the database. As we iterated over our solution, we added new parameters that were added to the record in the database. But the AI only updated the schema for the test database and did not keep updates to the production database in line. So despite all my tests passing, when I tried the app in production, nothing worked because the schema that the apps assumed didn't match the schema in the production DB anymore. If I'm working as part of a larger development team, the problem gets even more complex because now, as well as needing to keep the history of changes working while I develop new features, I also need to keep my changes working along with everybody else's changes, including...
How many people are using AI for like deciding on the features for their application? Is that really common? Because part of me wonders, like, a lot of the people that are either vibe coding or delegating like a lot of the work to AI, like, where do they draw the line? Or do they just go, oh, let's try this thing, and they just have no structure to their application? You spot check. What does that mean? Okay, Icarus says I use it for everything at this point. Yeah, but I do spot check. What does that even mean? All right. Shader says sometimes we're brainstorming, but I don't know features per se. Okay, Elias says I'm using it for research, like what other companies in the market do, because researching it myself is time consuming. Interesting. Oh, wait, that is really interesting. At what point will you decide, like, have you run into any issues where it either doesn't go deep enough into a specific problem that you're trying to model with software, or have you experienced it where, yeah, it either doesn't go deep enough or it starts hallucinating or anything? Invisible says the line slowly moves if you let AI do too much of the work for you. I could see that, like growing complacent, getting in a habit. Hi, YouTube chat. Code Dawa says, features for sure. It's so obvious when you come to new open source projects and find a README that details all the features. You know for a fact a model came up with that. Interesting. That's so interesting to me because I do feel like, at what point is, I don't know, like, what is the satisfaction in that? Because if you're coming up with a project and you've decided on all these features and everything, isn't there a certain amount of satisfaction that comes from knowing that you built that thing? Like, you came up with those ideas and being like, yeah, I did that. Or are people just happy to delegate it and then be like, yeah, I did that. Chill Mute says, I iterate on architecture. Woo! T2STE, thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. We're doing a watch party right now. We're learning from other devs. We're going to go into some software architecture podcast episodes as well. Hold on. I was just reading this one. So Chill Mute was saying, I iterate on architecture and contracts until satisfied, then build plans and implement. AI helps with seeing all the options to pick from. I will agree with that. It can be very helpful for, kind of laying out what are some common patterns that other people or applications use, for sure. Okay, Mr. Person says, I push to teach my engineers how to evaluate LLM output for code smell or hallucinations. I also love it for automatic code back to wiki. Helps me find the right way to discuss changes as a team lead. Automatic code back to wiki. Oh, yeah. I do definitely see the value in being able to, just kind of explain what's happening in the code in plain English so that you don't have that extra cognitive load of having to or actually like read through the code to see what's happening. However, I do find that a lot of the time you can see the point of, or like the expected behavior of an application, or of, at least I feel like I've mostly done maintenance on like libraries, but you can see a lot of the expectations of your application with the tests, assuming you have a good test suite. The satisfaction that I get is that the project is done and I can move on. Okay, that's so interesting. Nightshade says, to be honest, I don't think about satisfaction. Okay, Raven says, for work, I use AI. For my own work, I code myself. Honestly, I do see that being the common trend here for sure. I mean, it is one of those things. It's like, it can make your day-to-day easier. This is part of where I think that there is a really good, I think that it's really good that we're getting technical videos like this that also explain like, hey, these are some guardrails that you should be having with your agents, so that you can continue to do these things at work, like so that you can use it to have an easier time at work, but not, create a maintenance nightmare. Oh my God. Icarus saying I'm hired to generate slop. If I have a slop bot, it makes my life easier. That's a crazy take. Uh-oh. Interesting. Okay, Code Monkey says, I totally agree with you, but I think that there's also a satisfaction in overseeing the feature development. You go from building it to just orchestrating it. I imagine that's more or less what people who are promoted into more managerial work must feel, except obviously they have actual coders and not robots under them. For so long, wasn't the whole discussion with like among programmers of like, I actually never want to be a manager because I like coding? Wasn't like that used to be a common sentiment. Okay, Icarus is saying, depends on what you're building. AI is surprisingly good at generating microservices. Interesting. Okay. Tranvin says, I tend to use it for search of industry best practice, but implementation, it balloons way too fast. If an AI implementation is bad, I get mad and frustrated. Whereas if I wrote a bad implementation, then I actually swallow the bitter pill, rewrite it as a learning experience. 100%. Yes. It's part of the dev process, is realizing that your original solution is not great, and now you have to refactor it to make it work better within the constraints that you have. Oh, good Lord, I can't type. Oh, Nate was saying, I don't think it's about satisfaction. Interesting. Right. So a lot of people are saying that kind of for work, it's a little bit more, they're a little less invested in some of the outcomes, whereas they might be a bit more cautious or calculating when working with their own projects. Yeah. But yeah, this, if you're looking for more technical content on YouTube, Modern Software Engineering is an awesome channel for that. All right. Okay. Okay, John says, if you're building for a company and have no interest in the product, that's because it's just a paycheck. Then AI is cool. For passion projects, we have more interest in the details of the code. That makes sense. Yeah. This is where my dream is that there's more programmers can make a full-time living from those projects that they are actually passionate about.
Changes made by other AIs. If we have a working deployment pipeline, though, this gives us a definitive evaluation for
We
releasability.
love a
If the tests all
working
pass for release,
deployment
if any
pipeline.
test fails, then we don't. We have a new training course that can help you with all of this, including the specifics of why continuous
Thank God
delivery
they
is
have a
so
course.
important in AI-assisted
I need
development. The course is from Team Topology's pioneer, Manuel
Actually,
Pais, and will enable software leaders to accelerate their continuous delivery journey towards fast flow organizations and unleash the power of continuous delivery, ensuring revenue growth, faster delivery, and happier teams. So if you're interested in any of that, do check out the links in the description below. The degree to which we care about the releasability of our system is expressed in the thoroughness of our verifications. What seems to me self-evident is that the most efficient way to achieve a good level of verification efficiently is to combine it with how we specify what it is that we want in the first place. If we adopt the discipline of always specifying what we want, along with the criteria that we will use to evaluate that we got it,
He's going to say TDD. I'm so ready. He's just going to say TDD.
which is exactly what behavior-driven development does, then we have a self-verifying specification that clearly tells us and the AI what we care about. We can take this as far as we like. We can specify things like, I want to pay by credit card, as well as I want response times in under a millisecond, or I'd like not to lose any money if the system crashes. In this approach, programming with AI becomes an exploration of what it is that we want. AI generates code, but every change goes through the pipeline. Bad code gets caught in minutes. The team can move faster and safer because the safety net is already in place. Continuous delivery is what turns AI from a liability into a genuine accelerator. Aristotle supposedly said quality is not an act, it's a habit.
Yeah.
The discipline of continuous delivery is habitual. It's that habit that makes AI-generated code safe to integrate. The story I told you earlier about the AI not updating the production schema for one of my projects is actually also a story about the success of a deployment pipeline, because it was the pipeline that found the problem. I'd started this project fairly simply, getting some foundational pieces in place for my project. In just a couple of hours working on the basics of my system, I'd taught my AI to do proper TDD and acceptance testing, and we were making fast, controlled progress. Perhaps a bit faster than I had expected, if to be honest, at the start of the session anyway. But I was starting to feel a bit guilty because we'd got further than I had imagined without a properly functioning deployment pipeline.
Whoops.
My intention had always been to build up a walking skeleton of my system and use that to have something to build my pipeline against. But my app had grown to a bit more than a walking skeleton because of the lure of the ease and speed with which my ATDD approach to development was working. So now I was feeling guilty, and so started working on building out my deployment pipeline. I did this as an exercise to build the pipeline I wanted and simultaneously construct a pipeline skill for my AI assistant. We started work on both. One of my self-imposed rules is to run acceptance tests against a properly deployed production-like version of the system. So we did that, and immediately the test started failing. Result: my AI assistant was very pleased and seemingly quite impressed, or was that just sycophantic? The real skill in software development has always been engineering systems, not writing code. Continuous delivery is the embodiment of that engineering discipline. AI just makes the distinction more obvious. AI doesn't replace the need for software engineering, it exposes teams that were never really doing engineering in the first place. If you don't have continuous delivery in place...
Burn! He just dissed so many engineers out there.
AI will make you worse, not better. Continuous delivery is the foundation that makes AI-assisted development actually work. Start there. It's not about whether AI can write code, it's about whether your engineering practices are strong enough to handle code from any source, human or machine, and still deliver working software reliably.
They're not. We have to go to the next video so that we can know how to write better code. Please. This is a video for managers. That's what someone in the chat said. Wraith. All right. Okay, you guys. One for this one. which is a software architect. This is how you design systems that survive. 2, if you want to watch this one next, which is how to become a top-tier software architect. How to design systems that survive versus how to become a top-tier software architect. I forgot that I had that. Also, Corruptor, thank you so much for the Prime sub. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. I don't see the difference there. This is the same photo. Okay, neither. Why? Okay. This one, how many comments? 16 comments. This one has more comments. Should we go with the one that has the more views and more comments? You can start with that one. You guys want me to react to Prime? Oh, sorry, I have it muted. Do I have the site muted?
Try to be the smartest people, but they should make everybody else smarter. It's an amplifier. You don't want to be a kind of oracle where people come with the questions and look for magic answers. The good architects are usually...
How is this view swap? What does that even mean? This has Fang in the title. It wins.
The ones where magically everything goes well and nobody knows exactly why. Too many architects try to find answers when they don't have a question. But here's the thing that answers all possible questions. That would be nice. That doesn't work anymore. We've gotten so in love with complexity that if we actually cut through the complexity, we sometimes doubt ourselves. Don't stumble on the finish line. If you made sense out of this and suddenly it seems obvious, you've done a fantastic job.
Today, I'm joined by Gregor Hohpe, retired from big tech, used to work in Silicon Valley, in enterprise, and even at vendors, which gives him a unique perspective to talk about architecture. We discuss how to go from software engineer to architect, what great behavior looks like, and how you can spot bad architects, and what are some common traps you shouldn't fall into as software engineer, some of which you won't expect.
Here,
Fantastic takeaways in this one, so enjoy. What have you seen in how architects execute that makes them really good architects for the people that actually go on that career path?
Yeah, I always say, first comment would be, it's not a sort of binary choice, or I don't think that being an architect is determined by what's on your business card. So I think you can be a technical product person with a very architecture mindset, right? For me, well, let me start the other way around. The bad architects are easier to spot. The good architects are usually the ones where magically everything goes well and nobody knows exactly why. The bad architects are easier to spot, and it's like people who spew out a lot of buzzwords. You know, it's like, oh, everything must be cloud native or loosely coupled. Now we say, I don't need an architect to tell me that. I can just put a poster on the wall. And then why do I need this person? Or people who believe they should have all the decision power. It's like, oh, developers, I'm here to guide you. You know, you should make 3 components, right? No more, no less. Right? Those I find the not so stellar architects. The mantra that we have in the workshop, and that I very much follow, is that architects shouldn't try to be the smartest people, but they should make everybody else smarter. Right? That's an amplifier. You don't want to be a kind of oracle where people come with the questions and look for magic answers. Oh, what should we do? People come to me, right? And I'm like, well, it's kind of charming, but how do I know? It's your project, it's your application, right? How can I make all the decisions for you? But what I can do is help you make a better decision. And I think to me, that is one of the characteristics of a great architect. You can absorb the context, things that people explain to you, but you can uncover blind spots or maybe how people see different points of view, different angles, distill trade-offs that they might be implicitly making, but they're not aware of, those kind of examples. I think that makes a great architect, and it makes a nice architect, if you wish, because you're not trying to be the ivory tower big boss, but you're actually an amplifier to the team.
Yeah, from my position, both in product and in software, I have seen architects that are very much, okay, it's my way or the highway. And then they are a check stop that I need to actually pass. So I have to convince an architect and actually have a conversation with them. And from their position, there's a lot of power in that position in some organizations, especially in more traditional, bigger enterprise organizations. Bank, for example, especially where risk is very much mitigated. People don't want to afford to take risk. There's no need to afford to take risk because everything will just be operational. I feel like that's where you have architects, which are kind of a stopgap between a lot of innovating and solutioning.
Yeah, I definitely see architects as folks who lower risk. And I often tell people, we actually done this exercise where we pitch us like, hey, what's your value proposition? And as an architect, often I can say, I actually lower your risk. You might be fine without
I want
me.
them to
You
tell
can
me
just cobble
how.
together some application and maybe it works. Maybe everything will be fine. Maybe it scales. Maybe it doesn't have security exploits, right? But that would definitely be a risky proposition. So I think in a good sense, architects actually anticipate risks and mitigate risks. Like if scalability is a need that you have, right? If I call this an option that you want to have, then we can make sure that the system has those characteristics. So it's really a risk management function. And we all know that reducing risk, it has value, right? That's money in the bank. I used to work for insurance, so we know that risk equates to cost. So lower risk equals lower cost. But it's probably in a different way than many traditional architects.
Do we know
think
that?
so, right? So for
I don't know
example,
that we do.
lowering risk doesn't just mean working to plan or doing everything up front and having sort of one golden design or one golden reference architecture. I think the banks sometimes conflate that. Like basically, they think if your plan is perfect, then the risk is low. But they focus purely on execution risk. Like, do we build what we said we're going to build?
Yeah.
But software has very different risks. Like, will the users like it? Right? Will it actually do its business function? Does it actually move the needle?
Yeah.
Right? Is it making revenue for us? Is it going to make the customers happy? Does it grow market share? Right? And I think that's a whole different set of risks. And I see different organizations have very different point of views on what kind of risks they focus on. And that
Claude.
reflects on how the architects behave.
I'm wondering what your thought then
Claude
is
bot-
next to risk
bot
about complexity.
architecture.
I recently had a conversation with a senior software engineer, Bassem. He's from GitHub. He works on GitHub Actions, so massive scale, very cool what they do. And his take, some people actually thought it was controversial. He says, I like in the way we design systems, especially at GitHub, to keep things simple, because simple becomes complex when you're talking about scale. And then especially in this episode, in the comments, people that haven't operated at scale, they don't necessarily understand it. They think complexity is a big, big part of the job, and you should design for a rocket ship because you cannot afford necessarily to migrate or to evolve software. And I'm curious how you see that.
Well, I don't see it as controversial at all. I would say simplicity is one of the biggest strengths that a good design can have. Right? There's always, of course, there's an optimum in everything, right? So, and this comes more of building platforms because I wrote a whole book about platform strategy. And many domains have an inherent complexity. Let's say you're building a cloud deployment, like an internal developer platform. Let's say you build distributed systems.
Yeah.
Distributed systems have an inherent complexity. You need to deal with retries and timeouts and item potency, back pressure, retry storms, right? This is just stuff, there's laws of physics. There's no way you can sort of cheat your way out of that. So that complexity is inherent. And we had a lot of debates when I worked at AWS for this, where the product designers always
what
said
I
we need to
wanted.
make it simpler.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, we can only make it so simple because things have an inherent complexity because we build distributed serverless systems. So that is the one end of the spectrum to be careful, though. You should make it, well, as simple as possible, but no simpler is the smart, it's sort of the smart version of it.
Yeah.
But I think it's good to understand what is the inherent complexity, especially for platform builders. And then my guideline would be, don't try to make it simpler than that, but make it intuitive to deal with the inherent complexity. Don't pretend the complexity doesn't exist, but make it easier for people to deal with it, make it intuitive. And I think that is a good guideline, but you try to aim towards the minimum, just don't overshoot. I think too much complexity is one of the biggest problems we invite into our technology lives. Technology has become more complex anyhow. I always say writing a monolith in Java and sticking that on one server was a lot simpler than the software we write today. The software we write today, of course, has many nice characteristics, right? It's auto-scaling, self-healing, integrated, distributed. It has many attributes that we wish for, but it's not actually simpler.
No.
So a good architect's job is really to conquer the complexity that is there, to break down the complexity, to abstract away the complexity, because otherwise we become the limiting element. If things are too complex, people will make mistakes. Cognitive load is an important term these days, right? If it's too complex, the cognitive load will go up, people will make mistakes, people will be slower, or worst, people will be hesitant to make a change. If something is too complex, what will happen is you make a change over here, something over there will break, nobody knows why.
You don't want to touch it.
Exactly. Then you don't want to touch it, and that's the
I don't
worst
know if
case.
this is as
In an
technical as I was
ever-changing
kinda
world,
wanting
having a
it to
piece of
be.
software that you're afraid to touch, well, that's called legacy. We have plenty of that, so we don't really want to build more of that.
I'm wondering if you've ever been in a position where you were of a certain opinion and architects make other people smarter, but people don't necessarily have to agree with you. So then you are kind of this person that people either listen to or they disagree with, but you still have to work. I think a big part of it is working with either people or bigger aspects of teams. Have you ever found yourself in a position where people disagree with what you say, and then how do you help them?
Of course not, because I'm always right.
That makes a lot of things easy.
That's why I became an architect,
Yeah.
right? I'm always right. Now, of course, right?
Wait. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too, is that it would have a bit more system design insights. RIP. Hold on. Maybe later in the chapters. Yeah, I feel like it's been like 10 minutes and I haven't really learned, like, and this is no discredit. I think this is maybe just more for people that are like, I don't know. What's a rubber duck test? You can try, maybe we'll try some of these timestamps maybe. Architect elevator, mastering left to right. Okay, I don't think I'm, okay, we can try pen and paper.
Yeah, as you hinted, I like pen and paper. I like analog visual kind of things, whiteboards, flip charts. So the workshop is actually full of flip charts taped on the wall.
Yeah.
What I like to do is not use so much the standard notations. They're useful. You like 3, 4.
No! You guys don't think I'm going to find it? All right, hold on. Let me try and find something for... Okay, this one seems like it could be good.
Building scalable system.
Ooh, okay. You guys, I found another one. Watch party. Are you ready?
Building scalable system isn't just about writing good code. It's about anticipating and solving problems before they become critical. Today, we explore 8 system design challenges that every growing system faces, along with the solutions that top companies use to tackle them. Every successful application eventually faces the challenge of handling high read volumes. Imagine a popular news website where millions of readers view articles, but only a small team of editors publishes new content. The mismatch between reads and writes creates an interesting scaling problem. The solution is caching. By implementing a fast cache layer, the system first checks for data there before hitting the slower database. While this dramatically reduces database load, caching has its challenges, keeping the cache in sync with the database and managing cache expiration. Strategies like TTL on keys or write-through caching can help maintain consistency. Tools like Redis and Memcache make implementing this pattern easier. Caching is especially effective for read-heavy, low-churn data, like static pages or product listings. Some systems face the opposite challenge, handling massive amounts of incoming writes. Consider a logging system processing millions of events per second, or a social media platform managing real-time user interactions. These systems need different optimization strategies. We tackle this with 2 approaches. First, asynchronous writes with message queues and worker processes. Instead of processing writes immediately, the system queues them for background handling. This gives user instant feedback while the heavy processing happens in the background. Second, we use LSM tree-based databases like Cassandra. These databases collect writes in memory and periodically flush them to disk as sorted files. To maintain performance, they perform compaction, merging files to reduce the number of lookups required during reads. This makes writes very fast, but reads become slower as they may need to check multiple files. Handling high write loads is just one part of the puzzle. Even the fastest system becomes useless if it goes down. An e-commerce platform with a single database server stops entirely on failure. No searches, no purchases, no revenue. We solve this through redundancy and failover, implementing database replication with primary and replica instances. While this increases availability, it introduces
I forgot that it was at 1.25 speed. I was like, man, this guy is locked in.
Complexity in consistency management.
So much better immediately. Holy. They're talking about Cassandra. Let's see. This is only from 1 year ago.
We might choose synchronous replication to prevent data loss and accept higher latency, or opt for asynchronous replication that offers better performance but risks slight data loss during failures. Some systems even use quorum-based replication to balance consistency and availability. Critical services like payment systems need true high availability. This requires both load balancing and replication working together. Load balancers distribute traffic across server clusters and reroute around failures.
This is kind of what
For databases, a primary replica setup is standard. The primary handles write, while multiple replicas handles reads, and failover ensures a replica can take over if the primary fails. Multiple primary replication is another option for distributing write geographically. though it comes with more complex consistency trade-offs.
Is it too slow?
Performance becomes even more critical when serving users globally. Users in Australia shouldn't wait for content to load from servers in Europe. CDN solved this by caching content closer to users, dramatically reducing latency. Static content, like videos and images, works perfectly with CDNs. For dynamic content, solutions like cache computing can complement CDN caching. Different types of content need different cache control headers, longer duration for media files, shorter for user profiles. Managing large amounts of data brings its own challenges. Modern platforms use two types of storage, block storage and object storage. Block storage with its low latency and high IOPS is ideal for databases and frequently accessed small files. Object storage, on the other hand, costs less and is designed to handle large static files, like videos and backups at scale. Most platforms combine these. User data goes into block storage, while media files are stored in object storage. With all these systems running, we need to monitor their performance. Modern monitoring tools like Prometheus collect logs and metrics, while Grafana provides visualization. Distributed tracing tools like OpenTelemetry help debug performance bottlenecks across components. At scale, managing this flood of data is challenging. The key is to sample routine events, keep detailed logs for critical operations, and set up alerts that trigger only for real problems. One of the most common issue monitoring reveals is slow database queries. Indexing is the first line of defense. Without indexes, the database scans every record to find what it needs. With indexes, it can quickly jump to the right data. Composite indexes for multi-column queries can further optimize performance. But every index slows down writes slightly since they need to be updated for data changes. Sometimes, indexing alone isn't enough. As a last resort, consider sharding, splitting the database across multiple machines.
Who said that that's a word we should be saying in meetings? Who named that?
Using strategies like range-based or hash-based distribution. While sharding can scale the system significantly, it adds substantial complexity and can be challenging to reverse. Tools like Vitess simplify sharding for databases like MySQL, but it's a strategy to use sparingly and only when absolutely necessary. If you like our videos, you might like our system design newsletter as well. It covers topics and trends in large-scale system design, trusted by 1 million readers.
A million?
Subscribe at blog.bytego.com.
Holy shit. Ooh. I don't know how long this is. We're in it. The music is locking. I'm getting locked in. 2 years ago. I like it already.
Hey there, this is San. In today's video, I'm going to share with you our proven
goat.
strategies for crushing your
The
system
freaking
design
goat.
interviews. Having interviewed countless candidates, I've seen up close what works and what doesn't when it comes to preparing for these tough interviews. Stick with me for the next few minutes, and I'll guide you through a preparation approach that will help you tackle any system design question with confidence. Let's dive right in. First off, you might be wondering, what is a system design interview?
What is a system
At a high
design
level,
interview?
its purpose
That's
is to
what I
assess
was
your
gonna
ability
ask.
to 1. Translate an ambiguous problem statement into concrete technical requirements.
This is what.
2. Craft an
Honestly, we need this.
architecture and design that satisfies those requirements. 3. Articulate and defend your design decisions throughout the discussion. You'll be asked to design large-scale systems like an Instagram feed, Uber ride sharing,
know how to
Twitter
do
timeline, or even
Gotta work on
infrastructure
that.
behind Google search. Remember, there's no such thing as the right or perfect solution. The goal is to
There
demonstrate your
is.
technical expertise,
must
your
be.
approach to problem solving, and your skills to communicate effectively. Now you may be wondering, why should we care about preparing for system design questions? What's the big deal? Well, here's the main reason. Your performance in a system design interview can often determine whether you land a senior engineer position or if you're considered for a more junior role. Once you clock in a few years in the industry, system design is how companies gauge your ability to build complex systems at scale. Essentially, shine bright in the system design interview, and you're on track for those senior titles. But if you hit bumps along the way, you could be looking at offers for more junior positions. So it pays to put in the work and take these interviews seriously. You might be
Yeah,
thinking,
everyone, we
how
gotta
on
take it
earth can these
serious.
companies assess our ability in such a short period of time?
That's what I was
And
wondering.
you'd be right, they can, not fully. These
So
interviews are in many ways proxies for real-world scenarios. They're an approximation at best. It's on us to help the interviewers get the signals they need so they can vouch for us. It's not a perfect system by any means, but companies are always wary of repercussions of a wrong hire.
True.
These simulated
Honestly.
challenges are often the best tool they have at their disposal. So, how should we prepare for these demanding interviews? Here's a blueprint that's consistently worked for async system design questions. First and foremost, practice,
want
practice,
more?
and
You want it
practice.
faster?
Get hands-on with designing
fine.
real-world apps and services we use regularly, like Instagram, Uber, and Gmail. Just reading about the underlying architectures isn't enough. Take out a pen and paper and draw.
Wait, I did this before. I did this in school. And then I forgot it. And I was like, that was cool. Bye. Oh, is this all? That's all that is?
We must push ourselves to sketch out the core components and how they interact with one another. For example, design the back-end architecture for Instagram from scratch. Think through the key parts like the front-end clients that users interact with, the application servers processing millions of requests, the caching mechanism to speed up response times, the dedicated databases
Same
for storing
potato.
posts, comments, and feeds, and of course, the distributed object storage essential for
Redis
hosting
fixes
billions of
this.
photos and videos. Then sketch out how the main flows work, like how would an end user's image get uploaded and stored? How would the algorithms determine the order of posts in a user's feed? How would the system leverage cache data, and when
The
would it make database
algorithm.
calls? Actively constructing each piece of the puzzle not only deepens understanding, but reinforces retention. Next, study common design patterns like load balancing, database sorting, content delivery networks, caching frequently used data, just to name a few. Know the pros and cons of different approaches so you can intelligently weigh trade-offs in the design. If you're interested, we have plenty of videos on many system design patterns on this channel. When studying these patterns, anticipate the types of questions an interviewer may ask and practice responding confidently. For example, questions like, why did you choose Redis for caching instead of Memcache? Be ready to dive into technical details like Redis' superior data structures and its persistence options to justify your choice. Also, get very comfortable using whiteboards, diagramming apps, and other visual tools. In many interviews, you will be required to visually represent your thoughts. Whether it's a whiteboard during an in-person interview or a diagramming application for virtual setups, become proficient with these tools. You want the tools themselves to be second nature, so you can focus on communicating the design effectively, not struggling with the interface. And finally, do regular mock interviews to practice end-to-end. Nothing beats real-time practice that mimic the settings and pressures of the real deal. Get feedback not just on the technical design, but also on your communication skills, ability to think on your feet, and on how efficiently you manage the allotted time. Use mock interviews as a mirror, reflecting areas of strength and those needing improvement. During the interview, start out by asking targeted questions to deeply understand the use cases, scalability requirements, technical constraints, and other key parameters before starting your design. Avoid the temptation to dive right into proposing features. First, nail down the core requirements and scope. Be hyper-aware of managing your time wisely. Between introductions, clarifying questions, diagramming, and minor interruptions, your actual design time is far less than the full interview length. Every minute counts, so pace yourself appropriately and keep moving forward. Identify any potential time sinks in advance. As you diagram out components, flows, and bottlenecks, think out loud and verbally walk through your thought process. Explain your rationale, trade-offs, and decisions. Don't make the interviewer guess what's going on in your head. Vocalize assumptions as well. As you walk through your design, document the key aspects on the whiteboard so the interviewer can follow your thought process. Break the system into logical components. Highlight the main data flows and dependencies between them. Avoid getting bogged down in low-level details. Focus on architecting the high-level design and broader trade-offs. If you get stuck, take a breath and don't panic. Ask clarifying questions to resolve uncertainties. Think through issues incrementally and systematically to get unblocked. Overcoming obstacles and making progress with incomplete information is part of the challenge. If you would like more guidance on what to do during the interview, we have a video on using a structured 4-step approach to system design interviews. All right, that wraps up our key strategies for crushing system design interviews. I know these kind of open-ended architecture questions can seem intimidating at first, but with focused practice using the technique I outlined, you'll be consistently nailing system design questions in no time. There are no shortcuts. It will take some hard work. Best of luck with your upcoming interviews. You got this. If you want to take your system design interview preparation to the next level, be sure to check out our website, bytego.com.
Check out their website.
We provide a proven 4-step
framework,
detailed case studies, and access to our exclusive Discord community.
Exclusive only. And you can buy a
We
pass.
cover everything you need to
This is sponsored. I'm just kidding. It's not. Just kidding. Wow. Ooh, lessons from building cursor. Whoa. Design a chat system. We got to watch one of these. Snake oil. This is like the TikTok of systems design. We needed that. We need it. Huh. Whoa. Wait. Do we need to watch this one? We got to do it.
How does Amazon maintain high availability during Black Friday traffic spikes? Why do financial systems rarely lose transactions despite network failures?
We need this.
Today, we'll explore the reliability and consistency concepts that power high-scale distributed system. Let's dive right in. System reliability
watch
isn't
this
about
load
preventing
balancer
all
one after.
failures. It's about continuing to work correctly when failures inevitably happen. Network partitions will occur. Servers will crash. Hard drives will fail. The question is, how do we build systems that handle these realities gracefully? There are 7 key concepts that make this possible. Let's examine each one. The CAP theorem establishes a fundamental constraint. Distributed system can provide at most 2 of these 3 guarantees simultaneously. Consistency. All nodes see the same data at the same time. Availability. Every request to a non-failing node receives a response. Partition tolerance. The system continues operating despite network failures. Since network partitions are unavoidable in distributed systems, you are really choosing between consistency and availability during partition events. Let's look at how real systems make this choice. Google Spanner chooses consistency. It uses atomic clocks and synchronized time across global data centers to maintain linearizable transactions. During network partitions, the majority partition remains available for both reads and writes, while minority partitions become read-only. The trade-off is that nodes in the minority partition lose write availability until the partition heals. Amazon DynamoDB chooses availability. During network partitions, it continues accepting writes using eventual consistency and resolve conflicts through last write wins based on timestamps.
Whoa.
Users always get responses, but they might occasionally see stale data. Neither approach is right or wrong. It depends on your requirements. Banking systems typically need consistency. Social media feeds can tolerate eventual consistency. Eventual consistency makes a simple promise. If you stop making updates, all replicas will eventually converge to the same state. This might sound sloppy, but it's incredibly powerful for large-scale systems. Here's why. In an eventually consistent system, writes can complete immediately without waiting for confirmation from all replicas. This improves performance and availability. Amazon's shopping cart works this way. You can add items even if some servers are temporarily unreachable. But how does the system handle conflicts when different replicas receive different updates? When conflicts occur, systems use different resolution strategies. Last write wins use timestamp to pick the most recent update. Simple but can lose data. Conflict-free replicated data types use mathematical properties to guarantee that all replicas converge to the same state regardless of update order. Application-defined merge functions let developers write custom logic for resolving conflicts based on business rules. Modern systems like DynamoDB typically achieve consistency within milliseconds under normal conditions, making the eventual part barely noticeable to users. Load balancers distribute incoming requests across multiple servers. Sounds simple, but there's sophisticated engineering behind effective load balancing. There are 2 main types. Layer 4 load balancers operate at the transport layer. They make routing decisions based on IP addresses and TCP UDP ports. They are fast because they don't need to inspect application data, but they are also limited in their routing intelligence. Layer 7 load balancers operate at the application layer. They can examine HTTP headers, URLs, and even request content to make smarter routing decisions. More powerful, but also more computationally expensive. Modern load balancers go beyond simple round-robin distribution. Least connections routing sends new requests to the server handling the fewest active connections. Least time factors in how quickly each server responds, avoiding slower servers. For high availability, load balancers themselves are deployed in primary-secondary configurations with heartbeat protocols. If the primary fails, the secondary takes over within milliseconds. Consistent hashing ensures the same client consistently hits the same server, which is critical for maintaining session state. In our last video, we talked about horizontal scaling. Here's a problem that large horizontally scaled systems face. You have data spread across multiple nodes, and you need to add or remove nodes without moving massive amounts of data. Traditional hashing doesn't work well here. If you use simple modular hashing, then adding one node requires remapping almost all of your data. That's expensive and disruptive. Consistent hashing solves this elegantly. Instead of mapping keys directly to nodes, both keys and nodes are placed on a circular hash ring. Here's how it works step by step. First, hash each node to determine its position on the ring. Second, to find where data belongs, hash the key and walk clockwise around the ring until you hit the first node. Third, replicate the data to the next n-1 nodes clockwise on the ring. When you add a new node, it only takes ownership of keys from its immediate neighbors. When you remove a node, its keys get redistributed to the next node on the ring. The result? Adding or moving nodes only requires moving k over n keys instead of nearly all keys, where k is total keys and n is the number of nodes. Amazon DynamoDB and Apache Cassandra both use consistent hashing for exactly this reason. It lets them scale horizontally without massive data reorganization.
Jesus.
When one service in a distributed system fails, it can trigger a cascade of failures across dependent services.
What?
Circuit breakers prevent this. A circuit breaker monitors the failure rate of calls to the dependent service. It has 3 states: closed, requests float normally; open, requests are blocked immediately, returning fast failures; half open, a few test requests allow through to check if the service has recovered.
How much? I feel like this must be so much of what you end up having to do working at a FANG. Like, am I wrong? Isn't this everything? This would be so much. This must be most of it. That's why the pay is high? Yeah, that's crazy. People don't do this working at FANG. This is all basics! Shit. Damn.
Here's how it works step by step. The circuit breakers track successful and failed requests to a service. When the failure rate exceeds a threshold, the circuit breaker trips to open state. In the open state, requests fail immediately without even attempting to call the failing service. This prevents resource exhaustion and gives the failing service time to recover. After a timeout period, the circuit breaker moves to half open and allows a few test requests through. If the test requests succeed, the circuit breaker closes and normal operation resumes. If they fail, it opens again. Netflix pioneered this pattern with their Hystrix library, and is now standard in microservices architectures.
Where?
The key insight is that fast failures are better than slow failures that consume resources. Rate limiting controls how many requests client can make within a given time window. It protects systems from overload and abuse. There are several algorithms, each with different characteristics. Token bucket accumulates tokens at a fixed rate, up to a maximum capacity. Each request consumes a token. This allows controlled bursts while maintaining an average rate. Leaky bucket processes requests at a constant rate, smoothing out traffic spikes. Excess requests are queued or dropped. Fixed window counts requests in discrete time intervals. Simple, but prone to boundary effects, where clients can double their rate by timing requests around window boundaries. Sliding windows uses a rolling average that smooths out the boundary problems of fixed windows. In distributed systems, rate limiting gets more complex. You can't just count requests on a single server. You need coordination across multiple instances. One solution is Redis-based rate limiters that use Lua script to atomically increment counters and set TTLs. This ensures consistent rate limiting across your entire service cluster. Many systems implement tier rate limiting, with different limits for authenticators versus anonymous users, and progressively stricter limits as suspicious patterns are detected. You can manage what you can measure. Monitoring provides visibility into system behavior and performance. Modern observability focuses on 4 key signal types: metrics, time series numerical data like CPU usage, request rate, and error counts; logs, structured records of discrete events with contextual information; traces, end-to-end request flows, showing how a single request moves through your distributed system.
I feel like I'm not absorbing any of this. This is so much. Holy. Dang. It's day 1 of the nuclear class. Listen, okay? Consume at a normal human rate. Okay, there's a chance. Also, there's a chance I'm just not used to taking information from YouTube videos. Yeah, this feels like very high level. It does feel very high level. Super dense and high level, yeah. Yeah, I feel like this needs to be a book. I need to read something. I need to freaking read something. Guys, I'm tired of watching YouTube. What am I supposed to do now? We should play video games. No, I'm just kidding. What do I feel like doing on a Monday? Huh. When watching YouTube has lost its fun, you're effing lazy. No. No. Let's see. What could I do? I could probably do some coding. Do I feel like doing that on stream? Oh, I lost you. Hold on. All right. I mean, we can just do some coding. Probably. Okay. Oh, but then I gotta get, hold on. I gotta get y'all set up. Okay, doke. Then I would need to also update the titles for things. Yeah, okay. Systems design is a whole rabbit hole we got to go through. We gotta make it. All right. Let me get the chat. Also, thank you all so much for the subs. Troda, thank you so much for the Prime sub. Nano, thank you for gifting a sub. Corrupt, thank you for the Prime. Eva, thank you very much for the Prime sub. Hosaro, thank you for the tier 1. Catastrophic, thank you for the tier 1. And Aegis, thank you so much for the Prime. Josie, thank you for the 100 biddies. What the heck? Wow. Okay, let me also get the YouTube chat popped out. Alrighty. And then I think we are good. Okay. The PewDiePie Linux video? Oh, that's an actually interesting video. Okay, maybe we watch that first. All right. Alrighty. Let's do... Oh yeah, okay. We can watch the PewDiePie Linux video. Did he have a new one? 1 day ago. That's it. Wall. All right. Are you ready? We're going to watch party. We're freaking ready. All right. Don't spend your whole day in focus mode. Give yourself time to soak it all in. You're so smart. You're so right. All right. Are you ready? We lock in.
I don't have tissues, but I have baby wipes. No more smuggling. Adobe? More like, do not
This is the first PewDiePie video I've ever seen.
be no. No, that's not right. I do be thinking you. Fuck! You get the point! Stupid Adobe. Odysseus is my response. It is out. It is free. No tracking. No subscriptions. No funny business. It's yours and yours forever. Okay? Pinky promise. The best way I can describe it is that Odysseus is an AI workspace. Doesn't sound interesting? Fine. But let me explain. Basically, it's Claude and ChatGPT's web UI, but self
Guys, I did read through his dot files, but I didn't watch his video.
hosted. So you get access to all of it, but better. Because let one thing be crystal clear, okay? I hate everything in this project. All of it. If it could go away forever and I had the power to, I would not hesitate. We live in a world that, you know what, it doesn't matter. We live in the world. I'll end there. The best way I can describe this is to explain how it came to be. When I started self-hosting, I started to try and self-host AI. And to me, that felt so powerful. Like I'm living in some sci-fi universe and this is all on my computer? That's crazy. The point is, you realize the model that you can run at home are amazing. The problem is the way you interact with the model, okay? Because at the time, I was trying to self-host the UI for it to get the same experience as I was paying my subscriptions
How
for.
did he get
And
here?
I realized all these things that sort
Who
of
did
come
this to
together
him?
and make this an amazing experience was completely missing. Where's my memory? Where's my deep research? What about the agent? What about all these simple integrations like webhooks? I spent like 2 days trying to integrate that. So that's why I started to build my own. And I thought it was funny as a meme. I'm like, look, the computer is building the computer. Because I was making it code itself. It's a bit of a lark. I shared that on this channel. In fact, my council thing became a whole thing. I don't know why. It's hidden somewhere in the code, by the way. If you want to dig it up, that's fine. I never thought I would actually release this project, but at some point I'm like, this is getting kind of good. I prefer this. This is better now. So that's why I'm sharing it with you. Because I realized something very important. The more you share about
editor is so
yourself with
interesting.
AI, the better it becomes. The more it understands you, your preferences, your past experiences, your workflow, your work, your documents, your computer. The more you give it access, the better it works. But the more you do that, the more you're handing over a huge piece of yourself to all these giant tech companies. And that's a huge trust that you're handing over, okay? And unless you go to their website and find a specific page where you can delete all your data, and then just hoping they actually do it, you probably shouldn't do that. So that's why I realized like this project just makes more and more sense. I built it for self-hosting, but you can use it with API as well and use any model you want, obviously. And at that point, at least you own your own data. All your data is yours as it should be. And maybe you don't care about any of this stuff, that's fine. It's still just a great experience, to be honest. And I'll share why now. So here's the thing.
Elias says, keep in mind, this is the guy that came up with the bitch lasagna song. What? You guys, you have to understand, I know nothing from this side of the internet. This is the first encounter with PewDiePie that I have. This is the first overlap in my life, is that they are on Linux now. I'm like, okay, big YouTuber on Linux, that's huge.
I built Odysseus because I believe in privacy and self-hosting.
What?
All these companies, it may not seem like a big thing, and I agree. It's not like, oh no, all this private stuff, all these secrets. It's not even about that. It's about the principle. If maybe you don't care about your private data, the reality is these companies abuse it. Your private info, your address, your phone number, your relatives,
This is actually
a
huge.
scary level of information is stored about you and it's traded between companies. If you get spam phone calls, it's likely that your data has been taken by it and sold to these companies to try and scam you or sell you stuff. They can open credit cards in your names, and it's like, hey, look at me, I'm big tech right now. Oh no! Oh, we leaked everyone's data again. Oh no! Anyway, you just clearly can't trust them with it. So that's why Odysseus and self-hosting just makes sense. But what about all the data that is already out there? What about that? That's where today's sponsor comes in, Incogni. Because the good news is that you have the right to get your data deleted.
I'm unsure about these, what is it, like the companies that like clean up your private data? Because I thought there was a whole thing of like sometimes they end up providing more information to the sites than they had. Like, isn't that a whole thing?
An agent before, it's basically giving AI the opportunity. You give AI the chance to run.
So I'm like, you end up feeding it all of this information and you're like, hopefully I can trust this entity with all of this information
On your computer. So you can download files, run files, create files, edit files, browse the web, all this stuff. As an example, yesterday I had a video file that I want to transcribe so I could work on it. I said, hey, can you transcribe this video file? It found the file.
This is the tiniest chat window of all time. Why is it so small? Why is this the tiniest little chat window I've ever seen in my life? This is like, you turned it a little MP3. Back in the day, back in my day, this is like your little BlackBerry screen.
That I want to transcribe so I could work on it. I said, hey, can you transcribe this video file? It found the file on my other computer. It converted the file format. It ran Whisper to transcribe the audio, and then it shared the transcription back to me. And that's a medium difficult level task for an agent, I would say. It is incredible what they can do now, even on your own computer. It's funny, I read a book that I reviewed on this channel years ago, before all this nonsense happened. The scientist, Max Tegmark, he brought up this like hypothetical doomsday AI scenario, and it sounds exactly like an AI agent. So I know what you're thinking, let's go quicker! The agent is self-evolving, so it might find it a little difficult the first time you do a task, but then it will write itself its own instruction, so next time it can do it much quicker. It also extracts memories from your conversation, so the more you use it, the more it will become nice to engage with Odysseus, the more it will understand you. It's kind of jarring to look at your memories because it's such a personal thing. Yeah, this is all true. I'm glad I'm the one who owns this file and not all these other tech companies. You know what I mean? It really paints a picture how much information, how easily they can gather stuff from you just from basic AI queries. Hey, emails. I suck at emails. I've always sucked at emails. I hate emails.
Is he hosting
Let me
his
share
email?
with you a memory I have, and
I've
maybe
heard that's
you can
the
relate.
craziest.
It was probably like 10 years ago. I was on a trip in Japan on holiday, and I got an email from my accountant saying, we need your signature on this file. We need it by tomorrow, and if you don't do it in time, there's going to be a penalty for you to pay. Great. Fantastic. What an amazing accountant. I remember what I thought at the time. I thought, wow, great thing that I check my email so frequently. That's what I thought. That's a thought that no one should ever think. What the fuck? No, we should not live like this. It's fucking insanity. So what? I made it so the AI will read your emails, and it's okay because it's a local AI. So it doesn't matter. You're not giving away any information. And it flags if it's urgent. It tells me I can do whatever I want the whole week, and I feel like it's time to reply to emails. I reply to emails. That's at least how I want to live. And yes, I built an email client. I didn't want to, but it was just easier. Example number 2, okay? I got an email not too long ago where someone asked me something so stupid, it really solidified why I added this feature, which is AI auto reply. Someone asked me that they could have done themselves. It was literally just, you had all the information, you just needed to do a basic search. Because this agent has auto reply, it had already done the search and written the reply. So all I had to do was click auto reply, review it. Yeah, it was correct, send. And it felt like the most polite fuck you to someone that they will never know. Because I don't think AI should write your emails. But sometimes, yeah, Yeah, it's pretty nice actually. I take it
I
back.
mean,
There's also like basic summary and all.
if you have a local model or something like this where it is like privacy respecting, whatever, I mean, the alternative is that they basically just like ghost. You just ghost the person. Just never respond.
That stuff. That just makes it a little easier. Am I the only one with these problems? I feel like I'm the only one with this problem. I cannot be the only one with these problems. Is this how we want to live? This comes with deep research. This is a feature that a lot of AI companies will sell their product to. They're like, hey, pay for our subscription and look, you can get as much reaches as you want. I asked friends if they use AI research and they're like, oh, why not? It's awesome. If I'm gonna buy a product, I don't wanna look through a bunch of stuff online. Boring. AI, you do it. I stole this, as I mentioned, from Chinese lab. It was Tongyi Labs, by the way. But I also now have improved on it a lot. It has a visual version for it. You can chat about the result, inquire further from there. I feel like if there's ever more extra info that you need about something, it's a really nice way to get that information. Number 3, document editor. They can write files for you live so you can see it and review it yourself. I think this is the right approach that I've kept throughout. I don't want AI to do the work for me or replace the work. I want to do it, and it can help if I wanted to.
So I stole this document editor idea from Claude. It's really good, but I can't type in it. I don't want AI to do the work for me. It types terribly and it sounds shit. It sounds like AI immediately. But if I type whatever I want, I can just tell it, hey, fix the formatting, fix the spelling and all that, or fact check this piece here. I think it really shows how I look at AI. Like, it's a tool and it's not meant to replace what I'm doing.
It can write emails, code, PDFs, and a fancy dog. It can even sign documents. I don't know if that's a good idea, but hey, it can. It's actually a really nice workflow because let's say you're working on something like you're writing and you want to look something up. Instead of having to tab out and look and Google or whatever. No, you don't do that. You can just ask the model to look it up. It also comes with search built in. Search for AI can actually cost a lot of money. So the fact that it's free, we don't have to talk about how it did that because Google might not like it, but it is free and it's private. I hate sounding so suspicious, but I genuinely, I don't know. Here's the best kicker. It has a calendar. It has to-do notes. I literally just copy-pasted Google
So
Keep.
does org.
But it is good, okay? You can also, of course, create your own characters to chat with. My favorite, Goblino. What a guy. You can even create a group chat with them. I created this and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? This is fucking sad. Why am I making fake group chats? Jesus Christ. Well, it's there and it works, you know? But it has so much more because I'm an epic minimalist.
There's so much happening.
Everything is in one place.
The
I don't
edits
have
on
to
this
think
are
about
so
trying to integrate
chaotic.
it with other
I'm not
fucking
used
things.
to it.
It's just one place and
This
it
is
works.
what the people want.
So I recommend checking it out. Is that it? Oh fuck, I forgot. Cookbook. It has Cookbook. Cookbook solves all the problems with self-hosting AI. BF16, FP8, ABQ. What the fuck is a guff? There is so much to know when you're trying to self-host AI, and Cookbook is my way to try and make it more simple. There are more simple programs that you can run, but I feel like they make it too simple. You miss out all the magic. Cookbook can download models, it scans your hardware, which is the most difficult thing. Like when you're trying to self-host AI, what can I actually run on my computer? I don't know. All these things, variables to take into account. It gives you a score. Just go with the score. I found amazing models through this. You can also serve the model directly in Cookbook and it's just added directly into Odysseus. I remember sometimes just adding the fucking endpoint was such a problem. Like, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to write /W1 after. Or was it model or models? Why doesn't either fucking work? It just adds it automatically. I don't have to think about it. It solves all the pain of self-hosting. That is a lie, but it makes it a hell of a lot easier. Oh, it also has image editor. That's right. I decided that was a good idea. I've been trying to replace Photoshop, and I have to be honest, I have not found the solution. I thought GIMP was it for sure, but my decrepit old brain is too far gone, okay? All the key commands, all the locations are too far ingrained in my brain after using this software for 20 fucking years daily. I am building my own Photoshop. I will do it, okay? And it's already in it's in a good enough state, okay? And I'm not gonna pretend like it's good, but it's better. It's good enough. It's got aim paint. Background removal. I know, Adobe probably already has this now.
That's actually
but I
awesome.
used to use the path tool. Every day, hey, I'm gonna make a thumbnail. I gotta make the path cool all the way around. Oh, I could just click a button now. That's cool. Now, it might seem like there's a lot of stuff going on, and I agree. But that's what makes it all come together so nicely. I can ask it, hey, can you do this?
This is very fun.
Maybe,
this
like,
is very
summarize my
motivating.
emails, give me an update on my calendar, and just tickle me at 7 a.m. every Monday. It will do it. If I wanted to blub like a fish, it blubs like a fish. Oh, it has themes as well. Oh, now I got you. But the point is, oh, this is yours.
He knows what the people want.
And I want it to feel like yours too. And I'm releasing it because I want you to help me keep building it. The war on big tech has just begun. We will no longer be abused. This project will never cost any money. That's my return, okay? But you have to make meaningful changes, not just comma doctors, okay? It also works on mobile, which was hell to make feel good. But it's actually pretty good, actually. I just want it to be good because I'm using it personally myself, and now I'm sharing it with you. There is no Windows or Mac port. Someone else is gonna have to do that, okay? Thank you. Bye. It's me. I'm at the airport. There are a lot of things.
I will say there's no port. It's not that it not being available on Windows or Mac is very funny and awesome. It's like it's only for Linux. Someone else got to deal with that. That was like me whenever there was anything that needed to get ported to Windows. I was like, oh, hope somebody else is really wants this.
To think about when you're traveling. Fun fact, one time I forgot to bring Bjarni's bag to the airport. There's just a lot of things to think about. If you have a trip coming up, you can prepare today with Saley.
Oh, this is an ad.
SIM service.
Oh, okay, that was my bad. I didn't know. I don't know how his videos work. Wow. Okay. Do we find more PewDiePie Linux arc? Okay. Wait, it says that I watched this one.
Let's see.
I don't remember watching this.
Oh, you little kid.
This hurts my brain.
Oh, you poor boy.
Get me out of that.
I am not a tech guy. You saw my PC building video.
Yeah, I'm confused.
I'm surprised the whole thing hasn't exploded. It's like sitting next to a bomb every day. But what you did see was 0.5 seconds of the video where I installed Linux on the thing, and a lot of people just went, what? Some people seemed surprised and confused.
Something possessed him to put Linux on it.
Some people were excited. At the time, I didn't know the power that I had. I was like a baby with a rocket launcher. For years, I have been tortured by Windows. But now, alas, I am finally free. I escaped the Windows cave. I saw the sun. The shadows are gone. It blinded me for a moment. And now I'm speaking to you in the cave. Enough reference. Okay, so I'm gonna yap about Linux for as long as this video is, and you're gonna listen. I wanna start off by going through the reasons why I switched to Linux. It's different for everybody. Number one is how backlit this shot is.
I want to know
Number
his.
one,
I want to know
Windows
his
talks
freaking
to me
video editing workflow on Linux, because that shit.
like I'm a baby.
That shit hard. Well, okay, it's because I have integrated graphics, which means that I can't use DaVinci Resolve. Which means it's GG.
Now, mentally, I might be, but that does not warrant. You want Candy Crush? You want Candy Crush on your computer? You want to use Bing? Yes. Are you sure you want to delete that file?
Why is he talking to
Are
me
you
like
super
this?
duper sure you want to delete the file?
Why is this happening?
That's how it talks to me, and I don't like it. Linux, on the other hand, literally puts a gun in your hand and says,
Yeah, he definitely has an editor. That's true.
my first sort of aha moment when I installed Linux or started using it was, wait a minute, it does exactly what I want it to do. And there's just a really powerful feeling about that. I do want to show you guys my setup as well. I will get into that. But first, reason number two, as an epic minimalist, the bloat. The bloat is real. It always
He's a
bothered me.
minimalist? Let's
Anytime
freaking
I
go.
install a new Windows, I
Me
spend like
too.
an hour trying to uninstall all the pre-packaged BS that I don't want. Windows is like, I know you paid $100 or whatever for me, but I'm still gonna put ads in here. Yes. Put a little AI in here. You want that, right? That doesn't benefit
Yeah,
me.
true.
It's for you, the consumer. Bing! It doesn't benefit me that you use
Guys,
Bing, but
I saw somebody at the coffee shop scrolling on MSN the other day, like for news. Was it MSN? Yeah. I was like, Is it MSN? I'm pretty sure it is. That one's still alive. Is that the one that's still alive? Hold on. Yeah. I was like, I didn't know people did this. And she was young. She was like maybe 20s or 30s. And I was like, how did you find this? Where did this come from? I was like, this is where you get your news. This is like where they're like, put garlic on your feet. The doctors hate this. You know, I'm like, I thought that was MSN.
But
Anyway.
Please use me. Microsoft is an annoying Swede, apparently. With Linux, nothing. Serenity. Peace.
Wow.
Don't even get me started
True.
on the Windows
True.
taskbar. You control what's on your computer. Duh, it's obvious. How is this not a thing?
I love it.
Reason number 3, customization. I discovered this afterwards.
rising.
Customizing on
Yeah.
Linux is a beautiful thing. On Windows, you can maybe change your wallpaper, change a little bit of colors, whoopity-doo. On Linux, you can change reality itself. Since Linux is built modular, you can swap out your GUI entirely. You don't even have to use one. You can cut off the head of Linux and it'll still be like, hey, I'm here, what's up? Customizing on Linux is called RSync, and I got way too into it. I cooked hard. I can't wait to show you guys. Now, reason number 4, gaming. Gaming on Linux is finally real. I actually installed Linux 15 years ago. That's right, I'm old. And I uninstalled it after like a couple days, as a lot of people do, when they realize, oh, I can't use the things I need on Linux.
He does need
And for me, that
NixOS.
was gaming
That could
back
fix
then,
him.
because it's like, well, then what's the point? But now, gaming on Linux is real, at last. So Valve came in like Gandalf in Helm's Deep, riding a Steam Deck with Proton. So I think this is a perfect example of how Linux
that was great.
benefits everyone. The fact that Valve as a company recognized maybe Microsoft has a bit too much power. If they
Yeah,
wanted
tell
to and
'em.
started being shady, locking
Tell
things
'em.
down,
Freaking tell
taking
'em.
cuts, they absolutely could. And it's not like it would be uncharacteristics for them to do. So Valve started improving gaming on Linux, boosted driver support, and they built on what was already there from open source software like Wine. By doing this,
Wine.
Valve benefits, consumer benefits, ecosystem grows, win, win, win. It really feels like an alternate reality. This totally could not have been a thing. And it also makes me realize just how many things can be better if people just weren't so greedy. Can we just fix them? So thank you, Linux,
True.
and thank you, Base Gaben. Now I've gone through the reasons why I switched to Linux. Let me just explain why maybe not switching is a good idea. Because everything good comes with a sacrifice. If you're swapping to Linux, you'll likely have to give something up. I don't know what that is, but for me, it was Photoshop. I used Photoshop, again, for 15 years. All the shortcuts, all my workflow, it's all baked into my brain. The way I use Photoshop, I don't think about it. It's just, here's the thumbnail. It's not beautiful, but I get the job done. Unfortunately, Adobe is a garbage company, and their software just won't run on Linux. A lot of artists are dumping ship. They don't want to use Adobe anymore because they realize it's a terrible company. Me as well, I thought, you know what? It's time.
Oh,
I'll swap over. I know
this
the
the
open
GIMP
source
art?
alternative is GIMP. I've heard about this forever, and I thought, you know, it'll feel good. I'll feel good leaving Adobe. So I'm ready. I go to their website, I click through the 1,000 pages, I crawl through the bushes just to find the goddamn unsubscribe button, and I was so ready. I was gonna be
Yeah,
like,
honestly.
you Adobe, just unsubscribe. You know what happens? You know what
I do feel
happens?
that.
They hit me with an unsubscription fee. Yes.
That's so evil. They're so dark. That's so freaking
Well, I'm
dark.
sorry, what? I have to pay to not use your
That's
software?
so dark. This is the equivalent of basically you're like, hey, you know, I want to leave the gym, and then they spit on you. And that's it. They're like, no. And then they spit on you and they kick you out the door.
It was like 65
True story.
bucks or something. It's insane. What the If anything, it just made me realize, okay, it's over. I'm never going back. So like I said, the open source alternative is GIMP. GIMP!
Figma is like kind of decent, TBH. Figma can, except it got acquired by Adobe, didn't it? Wait, frick. No, wait, did it? Or did it fall through? No, I think it couldn't because then it would be a monopoly. They did not, but they tried to, oh my God, they tried to acquire it for $20 billion because they couldn't, oh my God. That's awesome. That's crazy. Oh, I have two machines. This one is at this one. My stream PC has a dedicated graphics card. My laptop, which is where I would want to do some video editing, unfortunately has its integrated graphics, and DaVinci Resolve does not support integrated graphics on Linux. So maybe I'll figure out how to. Oh, I don't know if DaVinci Resolve is open source.
And since this is Linux, open source, you can do whatever you want. I downloaded this icon pack that changed the icons so they look like the Photoshop icons. That helped a little bit. Then I downloaded a shortcut command list that matches the one on Photoshop. Boom, made it a little easier. You know, I'm still not 100% used to it, but the fact that I can do stuff like this really helps. For me, personally, a worthy sacrifice. I hope this doesn't sound like copium, but genuinely, it feels good that I was able to move on. At the end of the day, some tools are only gonna work on Windows and only gonna work on Mac, but what you gain on Linux is so much more. Freedom. Join us. I'm just praying that Adobe is not just gonna show up one day and be like, there's another fee. I'll meet them in a dark alleyway. They'll be like, there's a little fee. Now that I've convinced you to swap to Linux, you have the wonderful choice of picking a distro. Yay, so many of them. I hear people going like, I don't know which one to pick. What do I? There's a little fee. Now that I've convinced you to swap to Linux, you have the wonderful choice of picking a distro.
Excuse me, where's NixOS? What the frick is Slacks?
Yay, so many of them. I hear people going like, I don't know which one to pick. What do I do?
Nick's
There's so many.
mentioned.
Just pick one. It's a wonderful thing that you can
get the
choose.
L.
Don't you understand? The world is your flavor. Look at all these spices.
Yeah,
I went with Mint because it's the
Mint
same
I've
one
heard
that I
good
installed
things about.
15 years ago, and I knew that it was beginner friendly and that it still holds up. It very much feels like Windows, just better, okay? You don't even need to touch the scary terminal if you don't want to. You don't have to. It's okay.
He got gnome.
You should though. Now, let's jump into my computer really quick. Oh, look at that. I'm recording with OBS. Open source is always the best source.
What is he on?
Couldn't get
What's his
Bandicam.
Window manager.
They didn't have a Bandicam. I can't believe I paid for that. There's like free versions everywhere. That's
He's
so
running a
much
server on
better.
a
Okay.
Steam Deck?
Alright, so
Are
this
you,
is
wait, are you for real? Oh my God.
the terminal. You probably heard about it in Linux.
I'm
Feels
so
a bit strange at
concerned.
the beginning. Let me just show you how it works. But first, wait. Oh, yes, today's sponsor. 3, 2, 1. Wrong! It really went hard on the rising. But I just wanted to show some terminal commands really quick, just so you get an idea how it works. I talked about this in my last video, but the first thing that really blew my mind with Linux, I just noticed my computer was booting kind of slowly. So I found this command called system deanalyze, and it tells you exactly how long it takes for your computer to actually load and what part takes a certain amount of time. And it used to be like 45 seconds. I was like, dude, this is terrible. So then I found another command called blame, and then you can see exactly what part is kind of slowing down your system, which got me into like really optimizing it. And I had so much fun doing that. And it just made me realize, just like on Windows, if my computer is kind of slow, you just kind of deal with it. It's like, oh,
Mystery.
okay, well, what can you do? On
The
Linux,
ether.
it's like, the world is your oyster. You can fix it. Personally, I like that kind of stuff. The second thing that blew my mind with the Linux terminal was just how fast it is at searching. Searching on Windows is so annoying. It takes forever. Sometimes it doesn't even find the file.
Searching on Windows and Mac, I swear, Mac Spotlight used to work, and then it just didn't. I don't know who broke it, but damn, y'all, like, think of a single feature that is probably the most impactful feature for like general UX. Day-to-day use.
Even though you type the name of it perfectly. And a lot of times they just Bing it. They're like, oh, you want to search for your file? Oh, maybe, no, actually you
Maybe
do,
it's on the
you
freaking
want to
internet.
look it online. That's what you want to do. It's like, no.
True.
Linux, you can find any file, whatever you want. This is searching all JPEGs on my computer. That's a bad example, actually. The other thing that I love about it is that you don't have to just search the file. You can also search text inside the file.
Oh,
so let's say you forgot what the file is
He doesn't have rip grep?
called, but you remember
it.
roughly some
He's
stuff
grep.
inside it.
We need
you
it.
can grep it, and bada bing, bada boom. What the hell is this?
He needs
Spotify
grep.
password text. balls deep. I did not do that. What? Searching files on Linux is super fast. It made me realize just how it should be on a computer again. The most obvious thing with the terminal is that, let's say you install the operating system and you need to also put all the programs that you want to use on it. Usually you have to go on the browser, Google it, look up their page, go to their download page, dodge all the fake ads and all that crap, and do that and install and run each one, wait for it to install, yada yada. It takes forever. On Linux, you just go sudo apt install, what do we want? We want VLC, Firefox, OBS Studio, boom. Thank you. And now I can sit and look at the screen and feel like I'm a hacker. Yes, I know what all of this means. Every
What
single
Legos?
letter
Sudo says, do you know about the Legos? I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm soaking in with my brain. There's so much you can do with the terminal. It's just insanely powerful. I can make a whole video about it, but I don't want to keep this too long-winded. And in reality, I just want to show you my rise on my laptop, to be honest. That's the whole reason I'm making this video. I had this old laptop. I mean, it's not that old, but I just never used it because I didn't really like using it. I mentioned before there's many distros of Linux, and I wanted to try one called Arch,
Indy.
partially because of the meme.
Nix.
It's
Nix mentioned.
kind of become a meme because it's a little difficult to install Arch, so it's like a flex to use it. For some reason, I went on a god run and I had no issue. I always get stuck on the dumbest ever for like 12 hours. I don't know what happened that time. But I also wanted to download Arch because it's a minimalist distro. Whatever you put, or at least 90% of it, is there because you decided to put it there. And it's also very highly customizable, which are two elements that I love, so I knew I was gonna love it. All right, let's go into my laptop. I think it makes sense for me to show it without any customization first because it just be confusing and I need to talk to people that haven't used Linux. My first favorite thing, which I have on Mint as well, is just shortcuts on my keyboard to open programs. Open terminal, open file manager, open browser, close it, whatever, it's all there. It's such a nice workflow and have a more keyboard-centric way of using your computer, especially on a laptop. But even in general, you know, the whole like, okay, let me click on the start menu and just find the thing. If I don't have it keybind, I can open Hohpe and just search for it and open it. I don't want to over-explain things as well, but yeah, this is my terminal on the setup. I'm using Alacrity, and this is NeoFetch, which shows my specs. And usually people have an ASCII art. It sounds like I'm saying ASCII. ASCII, I'll call it ASCII, of their distro. And if you saw my Mint one earlier, I was like, oh, it wouldn't be cool if I do like my own.
Why would it not be ASCII art? What did he think that sounded like?
Own custom ASCII. And then I thought, oh, wouldn't it be cool if I do my own animated ASCII? So I figured.
That's what people thought. Okay, that is like 2G gen for me. Nah, that's a stretch.
Out how to do that. It took a little bit of tinkering and schminkering, but it's just so nice to look at. I love it. So I'm running Hyperland, which is this beautiful tile manager. It automatically sorts it for me whenever I open something. This is such a nice workflow, and I can close it all as well. You can literally open these until infinite. When you're on a laptop, when you have limited screens.
Oh my God. I will say that is something that I would do. Is just start fucking around with something and start laughing to myself in a room alone about the fact that I can infinitely spawn these windows and mess with the computer.
Space. It's such a great way to work with it. The fact that they're always there means I never have to look for them because I know they're there. And if my workspace is full, I can look at this, swap to another one. This is workspace number 2. And workspace number 4. I've been recording OBS from here. Let's say I'm working on a project on workspace 1. I can then work on another thing on workspace 2 and go back and forth vice versa instantly. I love this way of using a computer. It's so sick. The first thing I really loved about this Arch Hyperland setup was just how quick and smooth it looks, at least. You know, like boom, oh, open. It's so nice. But then I open my browser and it's like, oh, you see that? Ew. Again. Oh, that took forever. And it loads so ugly. So my first thought, okay, well, maybe I can upgrade my SSD to make it snappier and quicker. But then I thought, I'm on Linux. I can do whatever I want. So let's run a time here, Firefox. Let's ignore the CSS errors. I tinkered a bit too much. Don't worry about it. What was that? 2 seconds? Not good enough. So I figured out a way, and it's so dumb. I won't explain how I did it. But the fact that I was able to do it, boom,
sorry, guys.
Instant. Boom, 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 boom! I love it. I love it so much. It's these small things that makes you really fall in love with using Linux. Anyway, the first thing I customized was Waybar.
Wait, actually, what browsers have you guys been using? I'm using Brave these days, and it's been decent. I know that DuckDuckGo also has a browser. I've been using DuckDuckGo for search, obviously. Okay, obviously. I'm not a peasant. No, but DuckDuckGo for search is actually unreal for programming stuff. But yeah, I like they have a browser, but I've never tried it. All right, we got some people saying Firefox, Helium, Brave, Zen, Helium. I've never heard of Helium. Hardened Firefox, Vivaldi. I used to use Vivaldi, and then it's proprietary, and I was like, oh, RIP. Zen, Lynx, Firefox, Chrome. Okay. Be so serious, Icarus. No, I'm just kidding. You're allowed to use Chrome. It's fine. Peasant. No, I'm just kidding. I like talking shit. Okay. All right. Zen, Brave, LibreWolf, Firefox, Helium, Firefox. Okay. Okagi has a browser named Orion for Mac. Okay. I like using one that's like cross-platform. I'm a bit of I need things to be cross-platform. I like Kitty for the same reason, because the Kitty terminal emulator is cross-platform. It's good. DuckDuckGo is just Bing. So I'm gonna ban you, you little shit. Hello? You didn't mean it. You didn't mean it. Come on. Tell me you didn't mean it. Tell me you were just hungry. You're not the same when you're hungry. Please. Please. Ain't no way. It's Bing under the hood? What? What are you talking about? Goodbye. Goodbye. I'm ending the stream. Goodbye. That's insane. Use XNG. Okay, I did see that mentioned. I'll look into it. What is that? Oh, it's interesting. Oh, it's a meta. Wait, what? Internet meta search engine? What the fuck does that mean? Okay, I like that. Okay. DuckDuckGo search results are based on Bing. This is the worst. This is the worst day of my life. This is the worst day of my freaking life. Do you guys know how embarrassing that is? I've been like, listen, you guys, you know that DuckDuckGo freaking mogs Google for search results? Little did I know, it's a freaking Bing? You want to tell me it's freaking Bing? What? God. Oh my God. I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna end it all. And by it, I mean the stream. How humiliating. It's okay. PewDiePie can fix this.
Oh, I forgot to say I can move around as well if I want to. Anyway, and move them to a different workspace.
I'm so mad.
So yeah, this is my taskbar. It's like the Windows taskbar, except you decide exactly what's on it and customizing it. I put calendar, turn it on and off, internet, Bluetooth, quick access to all these things, you know. I really enjoyed this as well. It's
PewDiePie has top tier. Wait, where did it say? A top tier wallpaper? Where is that? What is that wallpaper?
basically just tells me if I'm connected to NordVPN or not, and I can toggle by clicking on
NordVPN.
it, and it tells me which country I'm connected to. Up here it shows which workspace I'm using. Since I have these reactor in the background, I thought it'd be cool to like LARP as if each workspace was each reactor. I'm on reactor A, there's reactor B, C, and D where it's recording OBS. Then I have my battery bar, which is ASCII. I keep saying ASCII, which is ASCII art. I got the volume, and you know, look, if my volume goes too low, it gets red, it's critical. Just to really LARP the whole nuclear reactor UI. To me, it's cool. I like it. All right, the second thing I did was making widgets with ew. Ew was a nightmare, I'm not gonna lie.
Here we go.
I didn't
Let me
know
also
this
change the
existed.
wallpaper really quick. One second. All right, so this is my desktop. Let me play some music actually. So first I added this visualizer because I just saw a lot of people doing it. It's using Kava, but I changed it again with Ashy. So it looks a little more matrix and hackery.
Ew is like, I think it's with 3 W's and it's like something wacky widgets. And it's like widgets for your Linux distro. Or wait,
Here we have my up
it's something like that. Some kind of widget. Yeah.
time, just how long it's been running, and how much until my battery's out. I should probably charge my laptop. CPU temp, I should probably change, cool it down a bit. All of this is, it changes. It's not just like visual flair. Well, it is, but CPU load, which changes, RAM usage, storage. This tells me which workspace I'm on. So right now, I'm on reactor B. Power consumption, completely useless, but I need...
Do any of you actually like really look at this stuff? I feel like I guess I have it available with i3 by default, but like I never really care unless my computer is like being slow for whatever reason or running kind of hot. Like if I can hear the fan or something, I'm like, that's not normal. Something must have some kind of a leak.
Needed it to look cool. And
Yeah, exactly, Software. I'm the same.
then we have my 2 fans for CPU and GPU, and then this little spinny fan thing to show it. Upload and download, latency, and then just another VPN thing. It's kind of pointless. And then basic weather. And then finally, to make it sort of all work together, I added a script that basically scans if I'm using a window. So if I open or close, it sort of transitions in and out waybar because I don't need it on both. That's just like too much information in my opinion. So this is on my desktop. It's just a nice vibe here. We just chill over here. And then when I'm in workflow, it blackens it all out. And I can just get going on my schwingy thingy. Oh, and in the middle here, my... I forgot to say, it has power profiles, my laptop, so I thought it'd be cool to change them. It's silenced, balanced, or power mode, but I changed it to Rasgon, which means overclock. You see my fans are spinning, and these are faster as well, because the fans are spinning more. This is so sick to me, because I'm remembering what this laptop used to be running Windows. I never wanted to use it. I hated it. Now it went from a hardware that I never used to my favorite piece of hardware, because it not just looks great, it runs great. I love it. It's so sick. I had so much fun customizing this. It was just a blast. Yeah, I hope you guys appreciate
when
it
is
as
he
well.
getting a framework?
I've been doing so much more. I built this camera as well. Like I mentioned earlier, you can communicate with Linux even without a graphical user interface, GUI. That made me so excited because I'm like, wait, that means I can use other computers.
Yeah, that's what I usually use.
At
I
my
just use
disposal.
VTop or HTOP.
For some reason, to me, that's just like really cool. And I wanted to try what I could do with it. I want to show this in another video maybe because I feel like it's too much yapping. But my point is, I've been having so much fun. Just tinkering, messing around, feeling like a hacker. But I gotta be real as well. Linux
That's so random. Isn't he like Swedish or something?
is not perfect. There's a lot of issues. A good example is, again, my laptop. When I first installed Arch, none of my F keys worked. Actually, sorry, 3 out of 12 worked out of the box. So I had spent a long time bringing them back to life. For me, it was kind of fun. I was like, oh, got another one working. Like,
So I looked at PewDiePie's, Stig is asking if I've looked at his GitHub yet. I looked at his GitHub and none of his videos.
okay, let's move on to the next one. But I can imagine for a lot of people that just want things to work, you know, maybe this is not for you. And maybe it should work, you know? I think since Linux is not as popular on desktop as Windows or Mac, this is just the reality. There's just not enough support for it. On Linux, if something doesn't work, it's kind of up to you to fix it. And yeah, that's just how it is. I was trying to update my drivers for my GPU, and I got a black screen 6 times, and I had to do a hard restore every time. It's, you know, not the most fun thing in the world. There are other things I could rather be doing, which is why I need you to install Linux, so the more people we can get together, the better Linux becomes. And I get it now. Like, that's why people were so excited about me using Linux.
He's rallying for
Because Linux is not a product,
FOSS. Let's
it's a
freaking
platform.
go.
And it also already exists
freaking
everywhere.
go.
NASA, SpaceX, it runs on Linux. All the supercomputers, your TV, your smart fridge, your phone if it's Android, it's all Linux, baby. I think it's just so cool, the fact that this all happened because one Finnish guy in like the 90s just decided, hey,
I can write a better kernel. Finnish naivety, typical Finnish behavior. They think they can do anything. But without that, you know, things would have been very different. At least there wouldn't be an alternative. And I just think it's so cool that people saw what it did, got excited, and wanted to join in. So please consider joining in. Now, if you're even just a little bit curious, I recommend trying Linux. Maybe try dual booting it if you're not sure. You can still keep your Windows or whatever. You're gonna kill it later. You might as well kill it now. Test it out, break it, get upset.
True.
On Linux, I feel alive at last, at long last. Thank you for watching. Let me just type.
Wow. Wow. Well, that was fun. Get upset. Get upset. Do something about it. Hell yeah. We love to see it. What do we think? I think this is really fun. I just always, you know what? I love it when people share what they are building. It's really great. It's so nice. It's interesting too to see somebody that has like such, obviously like so much experience making YouTube videos, recapping projects and stuff, because it's so it's like, I don't know. I feel like when you're doing like tech content, I'm like, how do I talk about something that's technical but make it interesting for people? And it's kind of a bit of a, I don't know. It can be kind of tricky. So it's kind of fun. I need your next tutorial. Okay, we gotta get on it. I got a few updates I gotta film. That I will say, his edits are a lot for me. Very interesting. He has genuine enthusiasm and it radiates from the screen. I think that's why it works so well. I think so. Go to podcast and talk about complexity. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, as a creator, did you notice any other things that you thought were interesting? Well, I think his editing style is interesting. I like how he uses his B-roll, like how he like pans graphics and stuff to make a static image, you know, actual engaging B-roll, which is kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, even just hearing how he yap about it is kind of like the pacing and stuff is interesting. Do I still manually code nowadays? I do, yeah, but that's because I'm building also a lot of stuff for myself. So I don't really have, I don't really have any need to like rush any, like I don't have, it's not like my work is like, oh, you have to do this. It's like, nah, I don't. There was pacing. There was pacing. Also crazy to call it manual coding. That is just coding for what it's worth. It's not, orchestrating agents does not equal coding. Free range artisanal coding. Manual coding like a human in the 90s. Yeah. Back when the times were better. Thank God. I do that and I have a well where I fetch my water and I grow my own carrots. This is how I live my life and it's peaceful. I write my own code. I grow my own food. I fetch my water. I sew my own clothes. We need it. I mean, I love it. It's so peaceful. It's so freaking peaceful. But you guys, I might let you sew in stream when I don't actually sew anymore. I used to be better at it. I used to do it. It ain't much, but it's honest work. I might let y'all go though, so that I can look away from a computer screen for a bit and then get back to some coding. Remember the good old days of real coding when you used to cut and paste everything from Stack Overflow? See, I don't really recall doing that. Maybe a little bit when you're like in between tutorial, when you're like trying to figure out the middle ground of like, oh, I've just finished a tutorial and now I need to figure out how things work. You know, when you're like at that stage of coding. But I don't know, beyond that, no, I don't think so. Reallocated sewing points to knitting. Yes, I did. I love it. It's nice having like analog hobbies. Yeah, how did you guys like the watch party? It was fun. Our random Monday randomness. Wednesday, Thursday. Actually, Wednesday, I might have to move Wednesday's stream to Friday instead. So it might be a Thursday, Friday angle. And if there are any videos you all want me to react to or watch, you can put it in the Discord. I have a channel specifically for Bash Reacts. Where did we go with your shell? I'm still working on it. It's a work in progress. We're still working on it. First video was really cool. I think it was fun to kind of blend some of the, like that first video I think was pretty good. It surprises me. There is so much fluff on YouTube. It's so interesting. It's like, how do you make it, it's hard to find a balance, I think, between like making it technical enough that it's interesting for devs, but like even the other ones where we watched about the system design stuff, it's like, it was a little bit too high level for how dense it was. It didn't go deep on any one particular thing that made it harder to like feel as valuable, you know? So I feel like maybe blog posts might be a bit better. Most of Twitch is fluff. YouTube is packed to hit 20 minutes. The quality of the internet has gone down the drain. Interesting. I mean, I think the point of Twitch is that it's fluff. I feel like Twitch is mostly background stuff, no? Going back to books, honestly, and docs, books are great. I love books. I need to find some good books for systems design stuff. I think you're right, Fade. I think they kind of made a good point of, I don't know, they kind of emphasized the importance of having a good deployment pipeline. And the importance of that for when you are doing things with agents, keeping problems small scope and stuff. But it's kind of one of those things, yeah, where it's like it could have been a 5-minute video, not like a 15 or 20. Yeah, we were watching. I mean, I did really like the system design channel that we were looking at. Hold on. I believe it was Byte Go. They were pretty good. Designing data intensive applications. Yeah, maybe I got to get that one. Yeah, I have the designing data intensive application audiobook. Okay, hear me out. I was doing a long road trip, okay? But yeah, it's kind of one of those things that's like a little bit too technical to just listen and try to maintain, like do anything. I find personally, I'm a little too, I think I'm a bit too visual for that. Grokking the design interview, is that one good too? First time chatting here, landed on your stream randomly scrolling through Twitch. Are y'all software developers too? Yeah. So today is on Mondays, we often just do kind of more random stuff. Sometimes it's coding, sometimes it's gaming, sometimes it's whatever. Monday's kind of like a whatever I feel like day. And then Wednesdays and Thursdays we do live coding. So today we actually just watched some videos on systems design, why AI won't replace software engineers, and then some of PewDiePie's Linux arc that I hadn't seen. Do you follow security news? I kind of. I see a lot of security news on Mastodon. How do you deal with burnout and or laziness? I feel like if you're starting to feel burnt out, it's like you do need to take a break. But take a break from like expecting too much output. Try to maybe increase. So like what I do when I'm low energy is I'll like increase input. So I'll try and like, read more books, find some good like blogs that I can keep up with. Like, I don't know, subscribe to some new like RSS feeds, whatever. Increase that where it's like I can learn from these, like I'm increasing how much I'm learning. And then usually that kind of serves as some inspiration and motivation. It's a little less like energy consuming than always having some kind of output that you need to, like some threshold for output that you need to adhere to. So usually, yeah, increasing outputs or inputs, and like taking a bit of a break from your outputs and planning for when your energy gets better again. And it helps a lot. It does help. The Pomodoro technique I also do find that very helpful. Agreed. Sometimes just setting some timers and doing it is a great way to just push back, not procrastinate on things. Lithium says, I've just been prototyping projects at this point. It's my happy place. I have 3 that I'm trying to get off the ground. Yes, nice. Your boy Alex is saying that they think that will be fully replaced, systems design and all. But I work at a FANG company, and the internal models we use, I swear to God, all I do all day is delegating to the agent. I feel like a lot of people are gonna, I feel like a lot of people at work are gonna be making their job easier in whatever ways they can. Is Mastodon any good? I feel like I have to delete Discord at this point. Yeah, Mastodon is more so... so Matrix is like the Discord alternative. I do have a Matrix, but it's always quieter on Matrix. Like Matrix communities are pretty small. Mastodon is more of like a Twitter alternative. Like it's basically a chronological timeline, and it's only word of mouth. So it's like people that you already follow, whoever they repost, and then looking at who you follow, who they follow. Like it's a bit more like word of mouth kind of thing versus like an algo that pushes content your way. Yeah. Icarus says the issue is AI replaces a lot of bad engineers, and there's a lot of bad engineers. I could see that. I mean, I don't know. I don't think about it too much anymore. What's the point? What's the point of worrying about stuff? There's either a solution to it or there isn't. In which case you work towards a solution or you don't. And that's all you can do. There's no point in worrying. You just got to go with the flow. Did you see recent RSync AI drama? No, I didn't see that. So far, I met the most chill and good people on Mastodon. Yeah, I feel like there's just so many smart people on Mastodon, like people that are just sharing such interesting projects. One of the, I got to connect with one of the authors of Pandoc when was it? I can't remember what I had said. I think I'd mentioned Haskell, or they saw my Haskell short or something like that, and they reached out, and I was like, that's wild. What a small little world. And I was very flattered. And I was like, yo, if I get back on the Haskell train, I'll let you know. Oh my gosh. RSync projects. Okay. Hold on. Oh my gosh. Wait. Oh, it's from Mal. Okay. Oh, I saw that. Okay, yeah. So I saw this post on Mastodon. Here. So I actually did see that post on Mastodon, and then I was like, oh my gosh, that's so funny. And then I just moved on. I didn't think that I didn't actually like consider that this would cause problems. So there was a post on Mastodon where someone said, so my system recently updated to RSync version 3.4.3, and as soon as that happened, my backup system, which does incremental backups using multiple compare dest arguments, started to fail on anything but a full backup. Revert to 3.4.1 and it works. So I go look at the source on GitHub to see what might have changed, because there doesn't seem to be anything relevant in the changelog. Since 3.4.1, 36 commits by Tridge and Claude. Oh, for fuck's sakes. And that was the post on Mastodon, and somebody added that as an issue to the RSync project. And people are pissed. People are so mad. Oh my gosh, wait. Okay, somebody had a crazy take on this. The issue tracker is not a place for you to farm viral social media posts. I'm sorry. It honestly, I guess, like, okay, Mastodon is social media, but it also like kind of isn't. Farming on Mastodon does not sound like a, like a thing. Like, that is not a thing. Who's farming content on Mastodon? Okay, either report an actionable bug or fork it yourself. Venting about the developer's choices is not productive. I think it is productive. Isn't that the point of criticism? Hello? So the comment was the issue tracker is not a place for you to farm viral social media posts. Either report an actionable bug or fork it yourself. Venting about the developer's choices is not productive. I disagree. I don't think that venting about a project's direction, which is a very, very much something within our control, I think that is productive. Hello? Honestly, the commit graph says so much. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Hold on. All right, you guys. We're looking at the drama. Why is there so much drama in the tech space? It's honestly kind of funny. Like, hello? Why is it this deep? Yeah, flashbang. Okay, it's in light mode. It's in light mode, okay? Deal with it. Wait, what is this? Stop, you know nothing? Who is this? Oh my god, wait, what happened here? Wait, who said, okay, this Paulus, okay, this is a person that opened it. So somebody tagged them and said, stop, you know nothing, you've shipped 0 features by hand, no one has ever depended on your code, you're a finger-wagging AI wrote this type in an era where you hide in plain sight, coasting on the moral high ground of writing toy projects and scripts from scratch. Can't ship, can't adapt, can't even realize that an issue tracker is not the place for this kind of attitude. What? They're throwing fire. Holy smokes. They're trying to scald this man's alive. Oh my god, bring in the freaking heat. It's that meme where they're like writing with the pen and it's catching fire. Oh my god. That's so funny. The guy literally used AI to make his replies. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, this project doesn't need more features or a complete rewrite. It was a stable piece of software that only needs security updates and bug fixes at most. This is what it's been for the past few years. Honestly, this is a good point. A rewrite in Rust or otherwise is a separate project. People love RSync because it's stable and just works. Regardless of AI as well, the project should really take care before pushing new features. This is always the thing, though. You should always be mindful of what features you're implementing. Is it just that now, because the barrier is lower to implement these new features, people are like, yeah, hell yeah, every feature always. Like, what? I appreciate enthusiasm of wanting to revive a project that was only in maintenance and adding more. It just requires care unless we break things in distros / users. Just pin an old package and it goes to waste anyway. Honestly, true. Wait. Just tell everyone who you work for. Wait, what is this? Wait, he got freaking ratioed in a GitHub issue. He got ratioed in the freaking GitHub issue. Wait, where does this man work? Is it unethical for me to look on stream? Oh, I don't know. Okay. He got freaking ratioed. Oh, okay. Wait, they're going back and forth? They're going back and forth? Oh, he's getting so... Oh my God. I see. No lies detected, so you proceed with a trivial veiled threat towards my livelihood. I have nothing more to say to this already absurd issue. This is so much tea. What the heck? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. Someone else came. They said, well, where's the proper place to tell a maintainer that you disagree with the direction they're taking? That's my feedback. That's feedback they need to receive. Even if they disregard it, I'll add my voice. RSync is a fundamental tool. If downstream consumers are discussing pinning or a fork, that is a problem regardless of the cause. It is true. Like, feedback is, whether it's what people or companies want to hear, feedback is always good. You want feedback. The worst thing you can get is just like a dying curve of adoption and no feedback. That's just a drive-by internet mob bullying a maintainer. This is free software with a free license. Take advantage of it, fork it, move on with your life. This is so fascinating. What an interesting pivot. Opening an issue consisting only of some Twitter clone screenshot. How freaking dare you? Have some respect for Mastodon, okay? Have some freaking respect. They said that with hate in their heart. I know it. That's so messed up. That's no way to tell a maintainer that you disagree with the direction they're taking. Honestly, I don't even think this is not even like this isn't personal, brother. This is saying, hey, here's a pattern. I had this problem on this version. I looked at the difference between that one and one that worked, and this is what I saw, and I'm mad about it. And that is the entire post. How in the world is this bullying a maintainer? You guys. Especially, okay, you're not maintaining at this point. This is also not maintenance mode. If it was in maintenance mode, people wouldn't be mad. What is this? What is happening? This is so crazy. Them getting personally slamming each other in this GitHub issue is crazy. Biting the hand that feeds us, but please. Okay, this person coming in here as a third party that is not invested in the current back and forth. It is kind of funny to be like, yo, I don't mean to interrupt. I don't mean to interrupt your argument, but I use this in a professional work environment for DFIR. Please do not mess up this software. It's free. We are using it for free, and I'm aware we're kind of biting the hand that feeds us. Now that I know AI is involved with the updates, it has to go through a bunch of scrutiny because it's considered an AI tool by policy. Honestly, that makes sense. Partly the fault of working for the government, but come on. Does AI really need to be involved in a tool that worked perfectly fine before? Wow. You'd expect maintainers of something as old as RSync to be a lot more mature. Oh, burn. That wasn't me, by the way. That was Invisible Cat. Okay, I'm throwing them under the bus. No, I'm just kidding. Wow, this is so interesting. $214. No one has ever. Oh my God. This is so crazy. Wait, is it just 214 of them going back and forth being mad? Oh, wait, I like this person going into conspiracy mode. This is awesome. Holy shit. Could this reasonably be seen as a hostile takeover sabotage of RSync? That's crazy. A rapid insertion of a frankly obscene amount of Gen AI code. This feels fishy even for vibe coder standards. Oh my God. Okay, we have another person. Oh my God, stop. People are ganging up on the original, the guy that's been getting freaking ratioed. People are ganging up on him. The man goes into a bread shop. He looks at the bread. His favorite brand of bread. Dons the label. Now with dog feces? Disgusted, he approaches the manager of the store. Why in the world have you started adding animal poop to my favorite bread? This is terrible. The manager of the store says, stop, you know nothing. You have baked 0 bread loaves by hand. No one has ever depended on your bread. You're finger wagging. They put dog poo in my bread type in an era where you hide in plain sight, coasting on the moral high ground of baking homemade bread from scratch at home without poo. What is this? Where are we? You can't ship bread. You can't adapt. You can't even realize that a bread shop is not the place for this kind of attitude. Oh my God, what is this? Wait, he says another one. Based on what I'm seeing these issues alongside other numerous RSync breakages elsewhere. Oh, could this be the reasonable hostile takeover sabotage? Gavin is pushing the boundaries of Linux gaming. The year of Linux desktop grows closer and closer. Microsoft Windows is an absolute nightmare right now. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised one bit. By the way, don't forget. Okay, they're going so deep on the conspiracies in this one. Oh my God. When you respond, swinging in response to getting called on your vibe slot, people are going to pile on. They are dogpiling. I am a developer. I thought he was going to say, I'm not a developer. I'm just a random idiot who came across this thread. And I was like, that would have been awesome. Maybe I should comment that. That could be me. What is this? This is crazy. This is insane. Okay. So is anyone actually going to start a fork, or is just this classic free rider problem where everyone expects someone else to do the heavy lifting while they sit back and vent? I don't like RSync being vibe coded either, but if everyone just wants to use the software and complain about it without investing the time and effort, nothing's going to change. I mean, I agree. I also don't agree. If it's a large project with so many dependencies, like, you do have to factor that into your decisions. That's wild. RSync and other software are lower in reality. Okay. RSync and other software are lower in reality because we're turning into software factories. If you want to catfight in virtue/vice signal, and you just want to catfight, okay. Well, I know for a fact that have you ever seen a catfight, by the way? Those are freaking vicious. I don't understand when people say that and they're like, oh, we just be bickering. I'm like, no, cats are vicious. Anyway, I know for a fact that whoever runs this repo sees when whoever runs this repo sees this, they'll just close the issue, pretend it didn't happen. I understand why the maintainer feels like he can trust Claude to do this, but it's causing him to become less sharp, or at the very least, do things no one asked him to do and cause problems in the process. Even though Claude and AIs are cancers on society, we have to be prepared for this kind of thing to happen. This is so tea. Oh my gosh. I didn't know this was gonna... Okay, y'all. I didn't know that this was gonna... This is so... Switch to open RSync. My God. This is so interesting. Okay. Open RSync. Taking note. There's an open RSync that announced on Hacker News right after this drama happened. That's crazy. Yeah, this is a closed issue. We'll scroll to the end. Oh, okay. You know what? They have an anime. Oh, wait. A lot of these people do have anime profile pictures, TBH. Okay. Honestly, I don't understand why we need to use AI or LLMs to build RSync. RSync worked fine. It did its job well. It's not like there's going to be any new features to RSync soon. As RSync is a really important piece of software for my workflow, I'll most likely migrate to OpenBSD's OpenRSync, as it's already the default RSync implementation installed at user bin RSync on macOS anyway. Whoa. Ooh, wait. Oh, this person's flaming the other person that flamed the other person. Holy shit. The beef is compounding. This is so funny. Okay. The amount of self-importance, smugness, and vitriol bottled into a single message to defend subpar AI-generated code in an attempt to make yourself feel better is hilarious. Any more offloading problem solving to corporations that explicitly want to commodify it, and I'm afraid we might not get a response from you. Holy shit. So what if he hasn't shipped features or had people depend on his code? Would you go as far as to say emphasizing learning how to program from first principles is unimportant? You're loyal to statistics and quarterly results. Open source is spiritually anathema. I've never seen that word. Anathema to those ideals. Do you think RSync started because they wanted to ship, bro? Haha. We need to make money and get crack jobs. So true. People are. This this has gone beyond a discussion about RSync, just the project. It's like people are piling on with like their frustrations with AI, their frustrations about the open source space and what it stands for, and tech bros. This is crazy. Okay. Shit, bro. Haha, we need to make money and get crack jobs. The neurotic, materialistic, pencil-pushing archetype you conform to that has manifested in this field over the past decade is a blight. Fucking mic drop. Follow. Oh, I'm not signed in. Followed. I will be following you. That's insane. Wow. That was honestly, okay, they have, is this an AI cat? I don't know about that one. This is so hidden as resolved. Trust have no place in systems. This is crazy. Ah! Bring back shame. No, but actually this is so funny. Holy smokes. But I mean, it makes sense. I think this is just like the result of people being so frustrated with the current state of software. And it's like the polar opposite developers right now, or like people interested in software. That's crazy. I wouldn't have closed it. Just leave it open forever. Yeah, that's true. This should be a discussion, not an issue. Actually, this belongs in discussions if they have it open. So, wow. This is so interesting. How about you pay for the support? See, but this one, I don't understand because I feel like they're mad at the wrong thing. It's like, hey, I use this in a professional environment. It's free. Thank you for that. And then this person is like, well, how about you freaking pay for it, you little bit? Like, actually, though, like, what does that have to do? Who's to say they're not sponsoring the project? What is this? This is almost getting as bad as the Steam forums. This is crazy. Not deleting. Wait, what is this? This is so wild. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, people are arguing about what it means to code with AI. Okay, so this person is saying, I think the maintainer should just turn off Claude commit attribution and be done with it. That seems... I don't love that. That seems very deceptive. Oh my God, the rabbit hole that they're with the Rust society. I'm not even ready. What's it even called? The Rust, what is it? The Rust, the company. Imagine if they did pay and this happened. Nothing wrong with that. I think that if Claude Code is writing your commits, there should be an attribution. No? Wait, what? You guys don't agree? Some of you don't agree? Okay. Should AI gen code require attribution? In open source, okay? In open source. Okay, yes or no? I'm doing a poll for once. Rage bait? Is that rage baiting? Are they rage baiting? Because that seems kooky. Attribution means basically that it states that AI, that like Claude wrote the code. It should require disclosure. Sorry, I guess disclosure, okay? Maybe not attribution, but disclosure. No, like if it's, well, not AI assisted, not like tab completions, okay? But if it's like writing features for you, it should say that it was like, if it's probably, in this case, if it's doing Claude Code commit attribution, it means that it's probably writing the feature and committing it for you. Okay, disclosure. I meant disclosure. Okay, guys, listen, I meant disclosure. It's not AI vibing. Humans drive coding agents. Using coding agents is a skill you need to pick up and develop. This is something I feel like I've seen a lot, and I don't think it is. I think that if you know how to write software and break down problems, this is not a skill you need to pick up and develop. This is just like, can you explain a solution to a programming problem in plain English? What is this? Vibe fuck up smells like don't use compilers. Don't use oh my God. No, is this rage bait or people think this? This is real. People think this. People think this. This is crazy. It's not like using a calculator or a compiler. Oh my God. Okay. Reacting to AI usage in this allergic way will only sow discord. You must adopt the technology, elsewise we will never see the middle ground. Human, fellow human, please. We need you. We need you on our team. Wait, I actually have hold on.
Fellow human. Is this better? Oh my God. It's not. This is terrible. Hello. It's not AI vibing. Humans drive coding agents. Using coding agents is a skill that you need to pick up and develop. Vibe, fuck this, smells like don't use compilers, don't use calculators. Reacting to AI usage in this allergic way will only sow discord. There are lots of good engineers that use coding agents and not vibe fuck up things. It should have been a well-written bug report instead of attacking AI usage.
What? Ah! This is skill. Oh my God. I don't think this is true. I'm sorry. I think if you can talk, have you talked to a human before? Have you said anything before? Have you described a problem before in enough detail that someone could solve it? Okay. Yeah, this is crazy. I don't like this either. I think, but every open source maintainer knows that at a certain point, you owe a certain, like, with a certain amount of users, a certain amount of dependencies, especially for something like this, where it is so instrumental in so many systems, you can't touch it. You can't break it. Okay? You can't start frivolously adding features to it. Come on. What? This is the analogies in these are crazy. Damn, son. Holy. Now, so I think what I'm talking about is if you have a project that a lot of people, companies, everything, whatever, depend on, you have a responsibility. And this isn't like, this is just fact. This is just something like, this is something that when I've spoken to a lot of other open source maintainers, like this is part of the weight that comes with when your project gets really popular. Can we just stop vibe coding RSync and revert the sloppy commits pushed and close this issue? Honestly, they're coming in with solutions. They're coming in with solutions. Oh my God, somebody respond. Turning off attribution would undermine the openness and proper credit that open source software depends on. Yeah. Okay. I can't upvote it because I'm not logged in. Calculator compilers produce deterministic outputs unlike AI agents. If you're happy with vibe coding, it's your call. However, that doesn't mean everyone is happy with it, at least based on what I saw in the RSync situation. These are so tea. Oh my God. This is odd. This is kind of funny. Oh my gosh. This is wild. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna skip to... Ew. Did someone make an AI bunny? What? Why would you do this? I didn't want to see that. That hurt. That hurt a little bit. Oh wait, I wanted to see the results of that poll. It's gone forever. No. Where's my poll? View results. Okay, wow. 30% of people didn't think that AI generated code should require attribution or whatever it was, disclosure. Raspberry, thank you so much for the gifted subs. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. What the heck? Thank you so much. Oh my, what is happening in this thread? You literally who threatened violence on the maintainer? Look at this, crazy. Y'all, let's go to, I want to go to the bottom of this. We need to get to the bottom of this issue. Wait, someone mentioned this 40 minutes ago? What is this? Coming here, wait, what is... Where did they mention this? Oh, I updated it to deal with RSync and happened to pick up on the new trust decision code at the same time. Oh my God. Whack-a-mole, but it does solve the immediate problem. Oh, I see. Wow. Who closed it? When did it get closed? Oh my God, you smell, bro. Oh my God, go, I don't know. Children. What is happening? When did it close? I don't even see it in the log. This is wild. Someone, farming comments, farming likes on a GitHub issue. It's cringe, man. Oh my God. That's crazy. Whew. That's crazy. What I'll cause this, basically just major regressions from the newer versions accompanied by a bunch of AI changes between versions. Yeah, that's crazy. Wow. Wow. Okay, I guess we'll see who else is live. Hope y'all enjoyed this random Monday stream. Is there anyone in particular you would all like me to raid? This was superb. You guys liked it? Good, I'm glad. There's more comments since. You got to refresh? No. No, there's no way. There's no way. Let's see. What is this? Okay, I'm going to look at some people that I follow. Lenus, listen, Lenus, thank you so much for the Prime sub. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Wow. What does this mean? Oh, they're doing game dev. Lenus Tech Tips, stop. Stop. Oh my God. Okay. Maybe we browse. This is the hardest part for me, is trying to figure out who to raid, to be honest. How come TJ never streams anymore? You know what? I'll let him know you said that. He should stream more. We could raid Ryan. We could raid Adam. Also, yeah, if there's stuff in the future that you want me to like react to on Mondays, not that I'm necessarily planning on doing a bunch of reaction content, but it is kind of fun sometimes just being able to show up and chill out and not use my brain. I didn't need it today and it was great. I love it. All right, let me check a software in game dev. Wait, can I look for... Do you guys want... Whoa! Invisible Cat, thank you so much for the 5 gifted. What the frick? Thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. Wow, are you guys starting a hype train for some reason? Are y'all trying to keep me here hostage? Wait, this person has Rust and coding as their tags. They're building a game, an MMO game. Okay, we're gonna raid them. Wow. Okay, it's not 0 viewers. Wait, let Josh if you want lower viewer. Okay, I'll check out let Josh as well. You guys know I'm a little bit of I'm a little biased. I like to stream. I like to raid other female programming streamers whenever I can. Here, I think we'll do this one because I think they're working on something right now. Alrighty. Alrighty, everyone. For those who are interested on YouTube, I don't know if this person is streaming live on YouTube as well. But also, I hope this person is speaking. I don't know if they speak English. I just realized I don't have sound on. All right. I hope y'all had a wonderful little stream here. Wait, you never heard her speak? What do you mean? What? Should we do it anyway? We'll see. She codes, she doesn't chat? Oh, so this is going to be different for y'all. You're going to see actual work getting done here. That's crazy. And then I'll see you on Wednesday. And I'm going to take something out of her book and I'm going to say nothing. I'm going to pretend I'm not even live. Just kidding. I don't know. I've never been in her stream. Okay. We're doing Wednesday, probably. Oh, sorry, not Wednesday. Thursday and Friday. Sorry, guys. I'm misinformation. Thursday, Friday streams this week. No Wednesday. Okay. I'll update you on Discord. Goodbye. Goodbye forever. Goodbye forever, everyone. See ya. Bye-bye.